Welcome, everyone, to this week's session of Ætherealms, brought to you by Geek Unleashed. Before we get rolling into tonight's session, we're going to do our shout outs to our sponsors. I'll start with Duke.
Have your dice been misbehaving? Do they spend more time in jail lately than rolling good numbers for you? Well, maybe it's time to replace them. So at metallicdicegames.com, we'll give you 20% off your entire order by using promo code GeekNation on some brand new dice for you. So again, that's metallicdicegames.com, promo code GeekNation. Kelly. That's all. That's the ad.
Geek grind coffee. Every sip, I am so satisfied knowing that I'm getting 20% off with the Geek Nation promo code and that I am supporting 600 Colombian women farmers. And the blends, so fantastic.
Tell us how fantastic they are, Kelly.
Now tell us slowly.
No.
That's no, too far.
No.
That's what I'm here for.
And that's the show, everybody.
Wondering where that line was. There it is.
GeekGrindCoffee.com, Geek Nation, 20% off. Good stuff. Love it. Back to you.
You almost got through it.
I knew they were going to mess with
I knew
it.
they were going to throw you. I knew. I said, don't look at them. They're going to throw you.
I didn't look. It was the hearing.
I apologize for nothing.
I had like so much more to say, but that's all right. Next time.
Tune in next week for our plug.
Hey, you know
Stay
what?
for the
Let's
show.
be honest. That's why some people tune into Critical Role, at least at the beginning.
Just for the plugs.
Oh
For
my
the
goodness.
plugs.
At this point, I never know what you two are going to do, and I'm honestly intrigued and also terrified.
That was
So
on the
next
fly.
time I'm going to play
I
it
didn't
off
write that
other
one.
people. I'm going to play it
Yeah,
off
we're gonna
other
have audience participation next time.
Yeah, because
That'll
these have
be
been not charged enough. We need a little bit more tension.
No, the
All
sad
these
thing
plugs.
is like my coffee has skull and crossbones on it.
Hey,
Go hunt, kill skulls.
it's just that strong.
Very cathartic.
Yeah, let's kick off the
Well,
video.
thank you. I guess, yeah, let's kick off this show.
And we're back.
All right, so let's get tonight's session going, which is based off of what took place last week, where our merry crew stopped at the town of Mudstream Mine to, by their intent, was just restock with water and such, having cleaned off their deck from some dead ramps that they had killed in an earlier episode. But it actually turned into a cry for help, as they were hired to investigate a mine that had undead within. And investigate they did. And learned a lot about themselves. Like, how easily can they get to a corrupted level?
I don't know what you're talking
So,
about.
Yeah.
yeah, not everybody. Some
Not
are still learning. So going into the mine, they found a series of undead with a strange purplish glow. And that also packed a bit of a punch, in both physical damage as well as spiritual damage. Making their way through these undead, they eventually found a void witch, who they managed to rally in no time flat, destroy. I was very very short lived. Took out the void witch, and then upon which the rest of the undead that were still upright collapsed into an immobile form. Within, they found a crypt that was used by the mining village to bury their dead, and a little exit that went back out to the village place. Recovering from the effects of the fight, was a little different for each person. Some affected more than others. And the conversation turned to what to do about this discovery, and that a glowing stone called netherrock was uncovered within the mine, and it is suspected to be the catalyst for the risen dead. So at the very tail end of the session, if you want to know more, go watch it. It's like 3 hours and 52 minutes within there somewhere. It's a long session, I realized.
There's a lot of fighting.
It's a meaty
Mhm.
one.
It was a lot, and in the first 30 minutes too, I realized we were doing some player stuff, talking about our characters and such. So, but at the tail end of the argument arose on exactly how to deal with this particular mine. Should it be collapsed? Should it be left alone? What have you? And Lexi and Val had strong words with each other, resulting in Val storming off into the night to either directly address the individual that hired him, or to wait, but really just disengage from that conversation as he had enough of Lexi's berating, I guess I would say.
Berating. I was just
I
passionate.
don't have this scripted. I'm just kind of, as it comes to my head, the words are coming out. So, but that's where we're at. So we find Lexi kind of standing angrily, staring off at Val as he's walking deeper into the mining village. Lorna sitting on the ground, arms folded across her legs. Wynn stroking her hair. Cattell and Cedric were arriving during all of this stuff, having done some more investigation. We're just kind of coming out to this, and I don't really have, because of the conversation was going place, really what they were doing at the conclusion of last night. So we'll start with that, since they're kind of coming out to this whole event occurring and hearing this argument.
Well, she was actually in. Cattell was talking.
I know, but I can't remember exactly. That's why I just.
I was sitting kind of next to Lorna and just giving her, some space, but friendly vibe thing.
There.
Because she seems to be a little out of sorts.
I think you are too, weren't you? Pretty
Cattell's-
corrupted.
Yeah, but I think she's handling it a little bit better.
Okay.
And she was also
like, oh my gosh.
And we can only see Cedric's eyes, so
right.
He falls to the ground in a fetal position.
You
Oh
just
my
see
goodness,
one lone
the day
tear.
that happens, we're all gonna just
Probably.
Tonight's episode, when Cedric cries.
This is too much effort.
it's dust. It's not even water.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little puff
Yeah,
cloud.
just like a
It's
light
not even
dandruff of-
dust. It's ash.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And so,
Sorry, I went
what
too-
time of night was it again? It was like midnight-ish, right?
Yeah, it's around midnight.
Okay.
Val
Alright.
could tell you he has a watch, but he took off on you, so.
He's mad at me. He's mad. I'm the only one with the lantern too, right?
But
That is correct.
There's the aurora and stuff. so
Yes,
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's right.
outside.
It was a
Yes,
clear
outside
night
it's
still.
a,
Okay.
yeah.
I just wanna make
Outside it's
sure.
light.
Alrighty.
Is anyone going to go after him?
He doesn't want me to go after him. I'm the reason why he stormed off. And I wasn't done talking.
Maybe then you should go after him.
I don't know if that would be wise.
Mm.
You might not have an engineer after it.
That would be bad, all things considered.
But he'll cool off. I believe. I think it all depends on what we find out from the gentleman that he entered the accord with.
I'm a little confused by his response in the cave. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Did it take you by surprise?
Yes and no. He's a very hard one to read at times, but this time I kind of was surprised. I'd have to say I was kind of surprised on this one. How, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't even him that said to collapse the cave at first. So it was actually Lorna, but it's just I just felt he wasn't thinking of all the other people that this could affect, or the damage that we could cause by just going ahead and doing something like that.
Right. Well, there's that, and also, has he had some, or maybe it's because he hasn't had any encounter. I mean, I've never fought the undead, but
He did seem quite shaken.
well, we need to make a decision. Are we going after him, going to the ship, staying here?
Well, it is late, and I think it would be really good for us, especially Lorna. She's not looking good. Hopefully, Wynn will pick up your spirits, Lorna. It was terrible in there. What happened?
Fine. If you think we have to go after him, we can. I have an accent and I completely forgot I did.
I'm like,
Wow.
oh, it corrupted your
y'all.
accent.
Sorry, I was in my head as Lorna and it did not come out of my mouth. But there we go.
Reset.
Fine.
Wake up. Okay.
Sorry. Wow. It's fine.
You got this.
We can go after him if you want.
Well, even if we were to go talk with him, it's late. We need to rest, and we don't want to disturb the town in the middle of the night with this. It's clear right now, or hopefully it will stay clear.
All right. Seeing as everybody is wounded and we need to rest, and we won't be any good if we don't. So he can do what he wants. Let's go back to the ship.
All right.
So the group starts to make its way back to the ship, and which I forgot how to pronounce.
Well, there's like four different
Yes,
ways
but what
you
was the
could
one that we
say it.
found?
think
I
it was-
know. There's 4 ways
I
to
think it
pronounce
was-
this word.
I think
Tyche's.
Tyche's luck, I think is what we
Fortune.
found.
Tyche was the most
or
popular
fortune.
way of saying it. but
Tyche's fortune.
Tyche.
Tyche.
Well, no, I'm saying, but Tai Chi was also another way you could
Yeah.
do it. and
Right,
there
but it was
another
Tyche.
funky way.
The most,
But
the
I-
ones I found the
Fortune
most
is
of,
the
it was
second
Tyche.
word.
Thank you.
Fortune.
How do you
Well, we were
spell it?
trying to make sure we were saying it right, and you went to
TY.
like all these different sites, and it was pronounced different ways.
Yeah,
was
I had to
like,
teach
okay.
myself Greek people.
So
Tyche.
we apologize if we offend anyone.
Yes,
Yes.
Tai Chi was the #1 way that we found.
It's
to pronounce it.
TYCHE.
Yeah.
Tyche.
Yeah.
I like Seki.
But Tai Chi.
Tyche was one that I seen. They did have Tai Chi. They had I can't remember the other one I came across. And what's worse is they had like pronunciation guides on it and stuff too. So like people have done a lot of work on this. And like, here's the pronunciation. I'm like, well, who's right?
Right.
So I've taken it upon myself to build a time machine, go back in time, and hear it
Yeah.
directly from the source. It's the only way to know for sure. So if anybody has any errands you want me to take care of while I'm back there, I can.
Tai
Okay,
Chi.
Are you sure it's not Tyche?
that was another
That was
pronunciation.
another way. That was the other way it was also said.
Just pick
So
one.
what I did is I started tallying them. How many times I heard.
Oh, we were. Oh God, we were
Yeah.
scouring the web and the
Well, just call it the fortune. Okay.
fortune,
The
We're
fortune.
heading back to the ship, guys.
ship, the boat.
What's Val doing?
I'm going back to the building that I spoke with the guy under the tent to see if he's still awake, if there's any movement. Is like a tavern something set up? Maybe there's people there.
There is the building that you came across. It was just a small, almost like a like an office type used for offices for those that when they're transporting the device, because it's right there by where the Fortune is docked at. Light, you don't see any lights on inside, and you didn't. It wasn't like a residence, so there was no like you wouldn't be sleeping there. There is, in just kind of navigating through the town and such, you came across what would have served as like kind of like a, I don't want to say tavern, more like a drinking hall, but it was quiet both when you went to the mine and as you're making your way through town. It is quiet again, as doesn't seem like they're into celebrating and whatnot. It's very quiet. But you do see some lights on in some buildings and such, but it's very sparse and quiet.
I just make my way back to the ship then, keeping an eye out, like looking around to see if I see the guy.
Okay.
Just out and about.
Let me roll a perception check for you. Okay. You do not notice him. You don't see him. In fact, you see very few. You don't see really anybody out. It's almost as if they're all hiding in their residence. The rest of you get to the ship first and navigate up the rope ladder up into the ship there, and you see Sakabi. Yeah, Sakabi kind of well.
Well, there's no more undead as far as we know.
Undead?
Oh. Right.
We didn't know what we were up against at this point.
Yeah, there were. Well, we sort of did. I talked to the captain. I can't recall exactly how our conversation went and if I mentioned undead, but they were undead and now they're dead.
Deader than dead.
Right.
Sakabi makes some sort of a gesture with his hands, some sort of a superstitious sign.
Anyway, Val, he'll be back eventually, I suppose. Everyone else is sort of drained, kind of need to get some rest.
He was there to kind of help people get over the side as they're climbing up the ladder, and when he asks the question, he steps away to give all of you space. Are any of you hurt?
Yes.
I think you look like who's like actually in physically wounded, like who's in
I'm not. I'm just spiritually.
I think I just
wounded.
got down to bruising, actually. Where's
Okay.
nothing thing?
So yeah, bruising probably you could probably not show too much damage
Just
in that
more
space.
a little tired.
Yeah, I have 5 vitality left before I get to wounded. So.
Okay. So you're actually just tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the bruised category, so I'm a little achy.
Yeah, you're tired and very sore.
Mm.
What do we see
I've only
that, by
got
the way?
I only took 3 vitality in that, so okay.
What's that?
I
What
only
do we
took 3
see
vitality.
for bruised and stuff?
You'll see that it's based on how much wound damage you've taken.
Where does it appear, though?
In under the body section.
So you have your physical health where you're negating those points, then your death saves, and then under that is the wound threshold and the categories for each one. So
Gotcha,
like
gotcha.
mine, I'm down to 22, so I'm bruised. I thought I took more. Actually,
I did too, but I guess it was over on the other side that you were really.
Yeah, it was
taking
mostly
beating.
the
Spiritually,
corruption. That's where I was getting knocked
heat.
around.
Yeah.
I took a lot of bigger hits to the vitality, I remember. But I'm not as bad as you.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
you
you
are.
took some sixes, if I remember. A lot of
A
D6s
lot
were
of
happening.
sixes.
Yeah.
A lot of sixes on those D6s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So those who are hurt, can go see our medic, our doctor. What do we refer to our person that is on the ship to help us?
I forgot their
Verbana's the
name.
medic. Verbana.
Rabana.
Verbana.
Verbana.
Yep.
Gotcha. I don't think I wrote that down last time. Nope.
I wrote
You
all the
haven't had
stuff
any
down in
interactions with
session
her, so,
0 and
yeah.
lost everything.
All right, Verbana. Gotcha.
Oh.
You did lose, or you wrote it on paper and not in the journal?
I didn't write it in my journal, so.
Gotcha.
But I got it now written down so I can add it to my journal.
I was saying, Laura, I know, wrote some stuff down. And did you lose that?
Yeah,
type
I
some
had
stuff up?
in session 0, I had put a bunch of stuff in the journal, and then we switched over, and it was just all gone.
I think
somewhere.
I
Oh,
have
no, I'm looking at it.
Really? Because I can't
Yeah.
access it if it
Hold on.
doesn't show it to me. I can't even open my journal.
Maybe it's because of the switch. So let me reset it and see if that fixes it. Okay, refresh your screen, see if that gives it to you.
Ha ha ha! There it is. Cool.
All your words.
All my words. That's good.
Is anybody else missing that access? Because I could check it for everyone too.
No, mine is just disorganized. I'd like to at some point organize it, but it
Oh, okay.
I've got 3 separate things going now at this point, so
we can figure it out later.
yeah,
Yep.
we're good.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, I don't need healing since it's only 3 vitality down for me. I'm assuming I get some of that back resting, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm good.
Yeah, I'm just going to go to bed.
While all this conversation is happening, Lorna has made a beeline for the mast, and she's probably already at the top.
Don't you need to be healed?
I think she's just vitality. I think hers was
Okay.
just vitality for the most
Yeah.
part.
Like,
Patel took
Lorna?
more physical damage than I did.
okay.
I just couldn't heal both, so choices were made.
I
You
frown
made the
as
right
I see her
choice.
scurry up the thing because I feel bad. I'm like, Win, take care of her.
That's what Win does.
Because Win's good.
Wins awesome.
Alrighty.
So- I'll just
I'm-
go to bed.
I'm going to bed.
Okay. Val, by the time you get there, they've all parted ways and are wherever they're heading off to. Sakabi is greets you and helps you over. He's on the watch. Undead, huh?
Undead.
And he makes a gesture with his hands again.
I pat his arm and walk by. I go down below and just find a hammock and just pass out.
Okay.
Just avoiding pretty much everyone.
Morning comes, and let me get how much vitality you heal. Oh, I clicked the wrong button.
During the night, can I also attempt to like sew up some of the wounds that I've taken with a
Yeah.
treatment?
Yep, make a treat. Roll.
What a treat!
What a treat.
My rolls are just flying down to a number. Is anyone else seeing that or no?
I'm not seeing any rolls. Oh,
I
but
didn't
that's
see a
good.
roll.
I saw that one.
I mean, I see the number, but I didn't actually see the roll.
Yeah, same here.
All
I
right.
saw the roll.
This happened last game too. Just like a little limp.
Oh, you mean you're not rolling strong and
I
aggressive?
didn't even see
Yeah,
the die go across.
I
Nothing.
found I'm a violent roller with my real dice. I go, I just throw it, man.
Do you have
Especially
like,
when you're
a
mad at him for not performing.
big, huge
You're like,
box with like
"Oh."
3-foot sides, just so that way it doesn't bounce out? And
I
nobody will find it?
have thrown dice across this room on accident because I'm a violent thrower.
I've done it
Accident.
deliberately.
There have been a couple of deliberate fucks.
I would like a little cannon I can put my dice in. Just shoot them into a container. That's the kind of force I want behind my dice.
A cork gun.
Yeah, that'd be
All
cool.
right.
What are we getting?
I am looking. I've got how you can heal attribute damage,
Oh, shoot.
but that's
I'm-
not what you're looking for.
I'm also I'm sending you some DMs on Zoom.
All this whispering behind the scenes.
I know, right?
I know, and
I'm
it's pulling me away from
jealous.
looking stuff up too.
Sorry.
So I was like, I have to answer that, and I'm like, wait, what?
I'm gonna start sending stuff to Lorna and Cattell. We're gonna have our
We'll
little
have
conversation.
we'll have a little girl group.
Welcome to Whisper Party,
Yeah.
Talk.
Nobody knows what's going on.
right?
The stream is just a bunch of typing.
That's just all staring down and reading.
Yeah, typing
Yeah.
and laughing and typing
Yeah,
and
chat.
laughing.
If you could see what I was typing, oh boy. I bet you'd be pretty excited about it.
All right, you recover 1 vitality point per character level for a night's rest.
And we're
Um,
2. So okay.
yeah,
Oh.
and you're 2. Let me
Okay.
make sure that I don't have any kind of extra things that could kick in there.
What about spiritual? A good night's rest raises
And
the
mental,
spirits.
considering I have
All of
damage in
your
both
yeah,
your
mental.
your vitality, composure, and spirit damage all recover at that same pace. So it's 2 points per level across the board. So all of that
Okay.
just comes with just rest and relaxation. If it's wound points, stress points, and or wound, stress, and corruption, those take a little longer and have different rules applied.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Okay.
so are we putting those points into vitality or wound? Do we have to go back up the threshold or does it skip?
You can skip, so you can actually still be wounded, but because vitality is more of like your like fatigue, or it's just your energy level. So you can get out of the good night's sleep, and that starts coming back, and you start getting back on your feet. But the other one that's more like healing, unless you're having magical healing involved, and then in which case
Okay.
then it can go directly to wounds because that's magical healing.
So she's wounded though right now, technically.
Yes, yeah, she's
So,
bruised.
Yeah, I'm bruised. So I get 2 in my vitality, not my wound.
That's what I'm checking for the wound part now.
Okay.
Now it's for
And the same
vitality.
thing for spiritual health. For,
And
more
mental.
than
Yeah,
one of us.
you can do 2 to the vitality. Each one that can go up by 2.
Nobody moved into stressed for mental health, right?
I didn't.
1 point. It's 1 point per night of rest. Period.
Or if
Per
you're
wounded.
wound,
For the
stress, or
for
corruption.
wounded, no, just for wounded.
Oh, just for
that's
wounded.
physical. And then for spiritual, you have to have some it's more cathartic. You have to experience something that can again bring your spirits up to affect your corruption levels. Either get blessed, go to a church if you're religious and have yourself cleansed there. It's I can't get too deep in a group
So
on
we
your specific
like,
characters. So
Right.
we need like a holy bath.
Yeah.
Let's have this be a hot springs episode.
Hey.
I did
To the
not
spa,
bring that
everyone.
up. Thank you.
it's a spy.
I'll be right back.
So each of us is going to develop that individually. So are you going to let us know privately how much we
Yeah.
got back, or?
Yeah, just for sake of what's going on, we'll say 1 point just in general for everybody, just like the wound points, but then we'll get into the specifics once we start fleshing out
Cool.
your intrinsic feelings.
Okay. So
Um,
2 points for vitality, 1 point for wound. Is that what I'm
1 point
understanding?
for wound, 1 point for corruption.
And I get all
What
my
about-
essences back, correct?
Yes, and all essence restored.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
I think
I'm glad you said that because I totally forgot.
So let me recap that. All essence restored. 2 points of vitality back, 2 points of composure back, 2 points of spirit back.
Yay!
1 point of wound, 1 point of stress, 1 point of corruption.
Oh, so
Okay.
I still get my 2 points of spirit even and 1 point to corruption
Correct.
to raise up, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down 2 points of stress, but I don't remember why.
I noticed that too. I don't know what's going on. So just put it in there. I don't remember you taking stress damage.
I'm the
Yeah,
only
don't
one I
remember
think
that.
who took
I'm just
it.
gonna-
So maybe
I
maybe
took
it
stress
clicked in the wrong
damage.
field or something. I know
Yeah.
everybody like took composure damage. Some of you took composure damage, but Cedric
Right.
didn't even
Yeah.
take that.
Plus he's already dead.
Uh,
No sweat off his back.
And when do we get edge points?
When did you
back?
die?
at level, I think. Right?
Your birth.
Edge points come at level.
Yes.
Sorry, viewers. I know this is hacking and coughing, but it's a new system and we're still figuring it out. So bear with us.
Because we
Sorry.
were burning
Growing
edge points like
pains.
crazy last
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
I did not.
Edge
I
does
was.
not recover until level. Right.
Okay.
I
All right.
burned
Fun,
through.
fun.
Think I got it.
All
All
right.
right. Uh-oh. Did the stream pause for anybody else?
Nope.
Okay,
Mm.
that's just me. Okay. I don't know. Where are we going?
Well, you wake up there in the crow's nest. So
Yes.
where are you going?
I'd like to look down. Lorna really wakes up and the entire night, Wynn has been curled up just like against her chest, like teddy bear style. Okay. So she's got probably tail in her mouth practically at this point.
Nom nom. Green fur
it's the
for
worst.
breakfast.
She's gonna stand up and look over the edge of the mast and see if anyone is on deck.
You do see Zev is on deck, having taken over the watch somewhere during the night, and but he's working on rigging and things like. He just seems to be down there working quietly.
Oh.
Although
We're
he's
also
still
on deck.
laughing. You still seeing him like chuckle to himself.
Dude has his own comedy show going on in his head.
Yeah.
I just keep expecting to hear Scar singing in the background.
I've also been on deck.
Now that's
Thank
in
you
my
for
head.
that earworm.
Oh, Cedric is also on deck.
Okay. I'm gonna come down and walk over to Cedric. Are you all right? Sorry, I couldn't help much yesterday. Was anybody else hurt?
Can't tell.
Right. Did she go to the doctor?
I don't know.
Right.
I
should
can go look.
It's all right. I should probably go see if I can find her. Thanks. Are you sure you're all right? You took a lot of hits.
Oh, was I able to recover anything with the treat?
Yes. Sorry, I forgot that you rolled that and you were successful, so that was a 4.
I will finish mending myself later.
Just imagining him like just
Sewing.
like an
Whistle
old
while you
grandma
work.
tatting or something.
I mean, we didn't talk about it, but that's exactly what he was doing after everyone went below deck.
Oh my god.
he sat at the front of the ship like with his legs over the side and was like, oh.
Sewing some pretty patterns into his flesh. Embroidery.
Cedric.
Who needs tattoos when you can sew it in?
Or find out
It's a
that someplace
patchwork
gonna
quilt.
accidentally sew himself to like the sail or something. And
Ah,
Just stuck up there.
How exactly do you do that? Mend yourself. I mean, I heal a little, not much.
He opens his jacket, sticks his hand in, looks at you, pulls out a doctor's kit, puts it back in.
All right. Well, if you need any other help, just ask. All right. And she's gonna turn around and start just walking really awkwardly. And she's gonna look at Wynn, who's, here on her. He's a really odd one, isn't he?
He's still just watching you.
I just imagine Wynn turns around and
Lynn's
looks
like,
at you.
yeah, Lynn just turned like over her shoulder, looking back at you as they're walking away.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down below and I guess try to find Cattell.
Where is Cattell when she wakes up?
She is probably by her stuff. I imagine she has in a corner, has her scarf kind of draped over her head, and is just scribbling notes into her journal.
Steve, was that 4 with the other thing that I messaged you about, by the way? The last thing.
Great.
I had multiple messages, so I had to find yours.
Yeah, I'll just repaste.
Gotcha.
I'm always
see.
like scrolling real fast, trying to find past things.
Lorna, you head to where Cattell is, where she tends to, her area of the ship, and you faintly hear this like scribbling noise, and that's all you hear.
Excuse me, Cattell.
Yeah.
Cedric said you were a bit hurt last night.
Oh, a little bit.
I was a bit out of sorts, and I didn't have much left when we got back. But I could help out a bit now if you want.
Oh. I don't want to tap into your resources unnecessarily.
Well, unless you think we're going to be fighting more undead, I don't think I'm going to need them that much.
That's fair. If you want to, they're just bruises. It is uncomfortable, but not anything I'm unused to.
I'm assuming I can see the bruises. Like, she looks bad enough where I would be able to see it.
She's got herself covered up though, so outside of just
like unless it got smashed in the face.
Yeah, and she didn't. Yeah, that didn't happen. I recall. So no, she yeah, she looks tired. But not only being that hurt out there. It's not like she's like got bones sticking out or anything like that. It's just she just looks like almost like she just had a rough night out partying or something versus like fighting with the undead.
Right. She was partying with the undead. What?
Yeah, was teaching them some dance moves.
Watch last week's episode to learn more.
She was all matrixy there for a while again.
Yeah, and then I got tired.
Yeah, and you got tired.
So I'm seeing here that restoring removes the battered condition, but I don't see battered anywhere here. Is that like bruised?
Yeah, so restored for the conditions and such. That's not those physical conditions because that's actual damage. Those are more like the ones of like shaken or dazzled or fatigued or sickened or things like think more of like conditions that get placed on you based on different types of attacks.
it.
Restore can
Okay.
clear those off. This one here is um, you can I mean actually so if you keep looking down, it's going to be somewhere in that 1d2 points where the same for physical attribute damage. Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would land in that space. So
But
1d2.
if I use cure, that would just take care of.
It does a little bit as well. If you do cure, that's specifically really designed for vitality points, but for
Yeah.
every die that's involved is a wound point. So since you have 1d8, it'd be 1 wound point plus 1d8 towards your vitality if you're shooting for that.
That's what I'm going for.
Okay. So it's 1d8 plus your arcana level,
Okay.
which is 2.
And so Catel's isn't Catel kneeling in front of like
Probably
writing?
just
Or
yeah,
sitting or
just
whatever?
maybe Indian style crisscross applesauce, and kind of wedged in a corner.
Okay. I don't think I have to touch you to do this. It doesn't say that. Lauren's just gonna glance at.
Yeah, to cure you do have to touch because you spend a point of essence to touch a target and
I
blah blah blah.
I missed that. Okay, I'm gonna reach forward and just tentatively touch her on the shoulder and cast cure. So let's see how well this goes. Oh, hey, there you go.
That's pretty good.
That's real good. Plus a
Hey,
point
look,
of wound
guys.
damage as well.
That
Now
So
guys
9
like me.
vitality plus 1 wound.
awesome. I'm no longer wounded.
Hey, nice.
What? Look at that.
Meow.
Catal just smiles. You know, I actually kind of miss having a healer around.
Doctor really that bad?
Oh, I've not actually ever seen or like gone to the doctor. I'm just used to having a healer whenever I need it.
They can come in handy. I'm not as skilled as I could be, I suppose, but others I can help out in a pinch.
And you did. Thank you. I was in a little bit of trouble in the cave the other day.
Why
Not
did you do that?
physically, but do what?
You jumped right into the middle of them. We could have, I don't know.
Died?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just used to it. After I left home, I worked at an inn for a while and sort of ran into an individual who sort of changed the course of my life. And his father taught me to fight. I fought him. And then an unofficial member of a city guard, sort of. And then I went off to do other things. So lots of practice, I guess, of running around, dodging, especially him. Didn't want to get hit by him.
It's fair enough.
Yeah.
My brothers were both bigger than me and are bigger than me. And
He was huge. Is huge, I guess.
Well, that doesn't actually answer my question. Why did you just jump into the middle of them all?
Because I did it for him. And I guess it's become a habit. Guess I never really took a moment to consider.
You might want to think about considering a little bit more next time.
Maybe. I'm a little more used to having someone my back. And I guess I sort of just assumed that would be the case. I mean, Cedric in the end ended up being that person and then you quickly after. But when I've been in battle in the past, it was as a unit and everybody stuck together. And being surrounded meant you were also surrounding the enemy. So I guess I'm not used to being with people who aren't sure of themselves. And that's also, I think, partly why I did it.
I'm sorry I couldn't help more. My shots were a bit off. Normally a
Yeah.
better shot than that. It's been a while.
That's fair. I mean, I ended up getting myself into a little bit of trouble there. But that's on me.
Maybe we shouldn't fight in mines anymore. It's a lot easier to get surrounded and boxed in.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm used to like sewers and crypts and city streets and alleys and things like that. But the cave was new and definitely more difficult.
Kind of similar to a sewer, though. I
A
mean,
little bit.
on
Except,
the narrow end.
you know, there was definitely a lack of smell in the cave. I mean, I guess there was a smell, but it was a very different sort of smell.
I'd
But,
say that those creatures smelled pretty awful, personally, but
I
that was
mean,
just me. I also hugged one, so
Should have
you
felt
know.
that.
you hug what? So, question back to you then. Why would you hug a zombie?
Well, the arrows weren't working, and I knew some of the magic would. It heals you, but it hurts others, especially undead. They
I
don't
didn't
like the
know
good.
that. That makes sense.
It's not exactly the best plan, but some have done it before. If you have to get in close, it's worth a shot.
Right. And being that we were forced into close proximity, I suppose it would be easier than having to shoot something that close.
Also, hitting with the sword didn't really work either, so I was running out of options.
Right. Are you all right? You seemed disconcerted afterwards. And it didn't seem like it was really the undead specifically.
I don't like being helpless. Yes, it was partly that. Partly just everything. It was very overwhelming, all of it. And then when there was quiet and you two headed off, that didn't really help that much.
You helped me.
I should have been a bit wiser with how I used my strengths and maybe not run in. We could have drawn them out. It was a clear kill box if we just kept them coming through the one alley.
True. Though I wonder if we would have encountered the Void Witch, which in the end became the catalyst of the situation. And who knows how many undead there would have been. They just kept coming. And I'm not sure from where. Though you have a point. We need, I think, to all be wiser.
Lexi
And-
could have just set the whole thing on fire. Maybe.
Yeah.
Do that.
I haven't seen her do it, but I believe she very well probably could have. Hindsight.
Was Lexi hurt? Should I go?
I'm not sure where she is. She's probably in the engine room. That's kind of her space. we all kind of have our spots.
Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
You mentioned yesterday on the deck that you were trained by an Astamare. Is that who you didn't want to get hit by?
His father's the one who trained me, and he was the one I didn't want to get hit by, his son. He was a troublemaker, and after I sort of taught him a lesson when he came into my inn causing trouble, his father came for me and made me his sparring partner, and that's where I learned how to fight.
So the father or the son? I'm sorry.
The father taught me, the son was my sparring partner. He's intended to take over for his father once his father retires, so he needed someone who could fight back and wouldn't be afraid to fight back.
And did they teach you to do what you do with the armor and
Oh,
weapons?
no. I discovered that ability a long time ago before I left home.
It's useful.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing.
A little more flashy than I care for, but it is what it is, I guess. I don't really like drawing attention to myself, but it's really the only way to access it.
Well, seems to do the job.
It does.
Are you an Astamare as well?
No, I'm not. The only Asamir I know of are the two I worked with, and then there were a group, I think, that sometimes visited my village. I'm not really sure. I wasn't too involved with anyone back then.
That's fair. I guess I'd better go see what's about to happen. I think Val's probably about to lose it at someone, either Lexley or the foreman or whatever he's called who runs here.
Yeah, we probably should go up there just to keep an eye on things, I guess.
Were they talking about blowing up the entire mountain last night?
I don't think they intended the entire mountain. I think that they were both talking about the cave, and for some reason they were misunderstanding that they were talking about the same thing. I know Lexi was definitely more concerned about the safety issues than Val seemed to be, but I think they were both talking about just that cave.
Probably for the
But-
best. I don't think blowing up the entire mountain would be in anyone's interest.
No. But I guess I'll head up, keep an eye on things, and see what happens.
Well, it was pretty quiet up there when I left a few minutes ago. If you
Hopefully
need
it
to finish
stays
something,
that way.
I
Oh,
can holler down if you need.
I'm pretty much finished. I was just sketching some notes.
All right. I'm just gonna she just awkwardly turns around.
And I'll kind of
Alright.
close up my stuff and start heading up to the deck.
Okay. We'll go to Val. What are you doing
Uh-oh.
when you get up?
What's that?
What are you doing when you get up?
Would I have waken up before Lexi?
Who's the early riser
Probably.
between you two?
Just yeah, probably.
Are you
would've.
avoiding me?
I,
Locks you in the engine room.
well,
Nope.
yes,
You can't get out.
yes, that no.
Let me out.
I would have visited Rodgut for her favorite breakfast and bring it to her as usual, but set it aside quietly and leave as like
What
a
is
peace offering.
Lexi's favorite breakfast?
I don't know what
Is it the
does-
goblin brew that he makes? Coffee?
Ooh, a goblin.
Geek Nation? Just kidding.
Ooh. Mm. out.
Shameless plug right there, folks.
I see somebody doing a future ad.
Please, somebody cosplay Rocket.
It might not be mates, but it's good.
This is true guerrilla
Sure.
advertising.
You can make a broth out of it and then put meat in it.
Oh.
There you go.
No.
I'm not saying I recommend it.
You should try the cold brew.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's just like an advanced keto diet, you know. That's all it is right now.
Rockin' has a future.
But I'll do that.
All
then
right, so you
when I
get
head
her.
to town. Yeah.
All right, and then you head into the mining village. Okay. Anywhere particular you're heading?
Just retracing the steps, looking for that foreman.
Okay.
Less urgency, more relaxed today.
He's not trying to save Lexi's ass again. You know, it's
She's asleep. I feel that she's not getting any trouble this way. So
he did something
He spiked
to the
your
cold
he
brew.
spiked your drink.
I was like drinking them out again.
So as you come up to the upper deck, you see Cedric is there. Doing what? I'm not sure. Since Lorna departed, what is he up to up there? And you're muted, so whatever it is a secret.
Probably just like standing and watching the dog person work, or wolf person work.
Okay. You
Lapping
see
themselves.
Val comes up to the deck. I don't know. Do you acknowledge him, or you just head off the
I
ship?
look at him.
Does Val acknowledge Cedric anyway? Or?
yeah, he doesn't wear a hat, but he tips his head. Morning. Feeling better. Good. And I keep walking.
I just watch him go. And I look back at the dog person.
How does this dog person feel about this? Oh my goodness.
He hasn't noticed him, so yeah, because they're down farther down, so they haven't looked up to see this
God,
figure
so
staring
Zev
at him.
is unaware he's being
Yep.
watched.
He's unaware.
Fucking them.
Where's Lorna heading after her conversation with Cattell?
She's just going on deck because she doesn't know really where else to go, and she's gonna rummage in that pack that she got from Lexi's friend and dig out an apple, and probably just go sit on or lean on like the edge of the ship, and if she
Stare at the dock
notices where
worker?
Cedric is looking, she's gonna like watch as well for a second, trying to figure out what is so fascinating.
Nothing in particular, really, because this person is not. It seems they're kind of very reluctantly doing work that needs to get done and such, but just doesn't seem to be like going about it in any with any efficiency.
She's gonna point out the person to Lynn. What do you think?
He looks over.
Sad.
He points down at him.
Crewmate.
Is it actually one of our crewmates, or is it just a random person from the city?
Oh, it was just a random person.
Oh,
Zev's
never mind.
on deck. Oh, you
That's-
said dock
that's what-
worker.
No, I said dog person.
Dog
person.
person. I heard dock worker as well. I was
Oh.
He's
Sorry.
talking about
okay.
Zed or
Zev?
Zev.
Zev.
Okay.
I
well,
think
it
I
can be-
think my
it can be-
question still stands directed at
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
but
No.
Cedric can overhear me.
Let's have
Oh.
him looking at the dock person instead.
Okay, because I'll say Zev
Dock-
is working.
Dock worker
is
dog
working hard,
person.
Okay.
Okay. So looking at the dock worker, Cedric.
Slow. Inefficient.
Why do you care?
I don't know.
Did you want to hurry him along? All right then. What do you think about that one?
Which one? Dog person?
The dog person.
Strange.
I think he's laughing at.
I don't know.
I know she's share. About everyone in the crew could use with a good laugh right now. Suppose it might not be funny to the rest of us.
Way to start, Lexi.
Not 4. Oh no.
I don't know. I guess I'll never know.
Why do you want to laugh?
Well, I mean, everyone's spirits are a bit down on, are they not?
He looks around. Is there anyone else to look at?
Outside. Yeah, you see some. So there's some. You see that there's some other people kind of milling about. But the closest one is the one that's over by the ship, working with goods and such.
He looks at you, Lorna.
Are your spirits down?
I suppose a bit. I mean, I have Win. She tells the funniest jokes. Probably wouldn't make sense to you though.
He looks at Win.
What is that?
That's Win.
He looks at you. He looks back to Win.
Can it talk?
Yes.
Does it tell these jokes?
Hi.
He nods his head. He leans back a little bit.
Good.
And he looks back down at the dock worker.
I find it quite odd that we're the two normal ones in this crew.
So
He
And
sad.
And she actually says that, oh, I forgot what my languages are. In a different language. Crud.
I know which one.
I assumed, yes, it's the one I'm thinking of, but I all of a sudden panicked and was like, do I have that one? Yes, it is. Okay. Do I have to say what it is, or do I just say that?
Oh, you could just say it. Nobody in the group knows that language because I know which one it is.
Where are my languages?
That's a great question. I'm looking as well.
It's Pig Latin.
Used to be somewhere.
It's
No.
under
I thought it was in
That's
abilities.
weird. Yeah, it is on abilities. It's that top section there, but I just looked and it's not there. I'll fix it on
Mine
the
are
right.
there.
I found
Mine
it.
are there too.
Yeah, I think I just lost interest when I got to the rest of the group.
That's the boring stuff.
So, is it Sylvan that I'm thinking of, DM?
Yes, it is.
I
And now
all of a
you
sudden
got it.
started second
Yeah.
Now
guessing
you have
myself.
it. Now you can start speaking it. It's legit.
Yep. Now you can talk.
Oh, do I have to refresh that, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, she says that in Sylvan to win.
And what was it you said again? So.
Something to the effect of,
They're the only normal ones.
how's it that we're the most normal in this entire crew? Something like that.
Oh, go figure. Squeaky, squeaky, squeak.
Cedric looks up.
I'll say if they're both going squeaky, squeaky, squeak back and forth to each other, they're gonna get smacked.
That's what Sylvan sounds like, guys. Sorry.
Apparently, the language has devolved greatly since it arrived here.
I apologize to all my professors that I wrote actual essays about the Elfish language. I'm sorry.
It's just the Latin form of
It's just a
Sylvan.
dialect. Yeah, it's a
there you go.
dialect. Yeah, it's okay. In the noble houses, they still use real words.
And then I'll go back to. I'm actually going to be watching the dog guy. I can't think of his name right now.
Zev?
Zev.
Zev.
Yeah. I'm just going to be watching him.
Okay, he's working hard. He's just he just kind of chuckles occasionally to himself and goes about his business. Totally messed up my screen. Sorry. Okay. So Lexi's sleeping in.
Apparently so.
So Val,
Yes.
once you get down on the ship and you're walking just along that loading area, you do see the boy that was in the building there when you first arrived in it. You see him nearby. You do not see what's his name? Jarrer. You do not see him yet.
I stopped the boy and asked him and Taryn where he is.
Give me a persuasion, just because he didn't like you.
Not Val. Come on.
Join the club.
Oh, that like spun on the corner.
Hold on a second, because my screen cut off that part. 14. Okay. He points at some permanent structures that are a couple bridges over. He points in that direction.
All right. I thank him and head that direction.
Okay. So, sorry, my notes dropped off. So you head over in that direction, and you do see Jar there talking with another individual, let's say this very thick bearded fellow is about 3.5 feet tall. Looks that they're having some sort of a discussion, and then he.
Well, can I slow up real quick before I get there and try to eavesdrop?
Perception.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, I was lucky that bounced back.
So, Jar is talking to his if we relocate over to further down, maybe 100 yards, 200 yards, what do you think our chances are of continuing on? And the smaller individual says, I'll do my best, but without Odin here, I can't promise anything. It's like, all right, very well, very well. But it looks like they're talking about maybe opening another, like moving away from this particular area.
Okay. Then I'll approach.
All right. You come up, he stops and he pats the shorter fellow on the shoulder there and kind of gives him a nod, and he saunters away. He looks at you with hope in his eyes. What news?
Could we
When
speak in private, please? Perhaps your office.
absolutely yes. And he opens the door. When we didn't see you in the morning, we feared the worst. But one of the crewmen were spotted, and we figured you just rested on your ship. And he walks in and motions for you to sit in a chair. Can I get you something to drink?
Thank you, but no.
So he sits across from you.
You primarily mine silver for Petra, correct?
Yes.
Have you shipped them any other minerals aside from silver?
We struck an iron vein a few years back. They were content with that, but our cord is for silver, and so that's what we focus on with.
Does he like seem like he's on the up and up when he's saying that stuff, or is he hiding something?
Well, let me make a roll for you, and I'll tell you. Let's see, Val. Yeah, from what you've asked him, he seems like he's giving you honest answers.
You're in danger here. No matter how far you go to mine, this is a bad place.
Oh, clearly, it's just some reason the undead are here. Don't even know why.
Has he paid me the money yet, or is it still
No,
in his hands?
it's still in his hands.
Petra has abandoned you. Keep your money. Go somewhere else. Let them just assume you're dead. Go live in freedom. You stay here, you'll die.
Are you from Petra?
Aye.
Then you know there's no way you could run from the guilds.
Yet they send
We
no
have an
help.
accord. We have an accord.
If you stay here, you'll die.
If we leave here, we'll die. We have an accord.
We found a hag in the mines.
What do you mean a hag?
She was the source of the undead attacks. We managed to put her down, but who knows if there's not more.
Blessings be that you were able to put her down then.
But
That is a relief.
when we leave, and one comes back, you're on your own.
The individual you saw me speaking with, Micah, he's he's our head engineer now, although he wasn't originally. But I was discussing possibly moving the mines further away, down the cliffside, and maybe we can uncover some new veins, but get away from this particular area.
There's no guarantee that what you find could create the same result as this last mine. I suggest that you collapse it, the old one.
What is exactly? But you said the hag was the cause, and she's dead.
I fear that if you leave it open, more will arrive. Something is drawing things there.
Well, we can certainly collapse it. The only thing that's really near that area is some dry mines and the crypt. We could certainly rebuild another one further away.
I've said what I've come to say. Keep your money. I stand up to leave.
So, he seems leaning down the desk there, and he pulls out several pouches or bags, really, of what sounds like coin. We had an accord.
And that mind is clear.
And
I
this is
cannot
your pay.
guarantee. All right. I take it.
Okay.
Muttering, stubborn bastards that leave.
He hears you, and he goes and wakes up his dragon. I'll show you. All right. So you are carrying these very heavy bags, which is probably like of a very high currency, considering that it's just a couple bags and it's 350 gil that you're carrying in them. Back to the ship.
Yep.
If I see Val's not sure what to do with these bags while he has to climb back up.
I'm sure I can put them over my shoulder or I'll toss them.
He's got a really great aim. So as you're you get back to the ship, and you're kind of securing them over so you can climb up with them. You see Lorna and Cedric they're kind of looking out, at what everything's going on. They notice you approaching and are looking your way. Cattell is where by this time?
I'm probably up on deck at this point, since that's where I was intending to go after my conversation with Lorna.
Okay.
Cedric.
So this,
Cedric points at Val approaching next to Lorna.
I join the others.
well, you're on your way back there, and they're watching you. Lorna, Cattell, Cedric, make a perception check.
Perception.
They all remember where things
Perception.
are.
Ooh.
What?
Dang.
Holy cow, Cedric!
Cedric's
I
I was gonna say,
They're
Cattell
all
and
good
Lorna did
rolls.
pretty darn good, and I was like going, okay, I'm impressed. And he pulls out a 44. I'm like, holy
He's got
cow.
like binoculars in his eyes.
His eyes just glow. I see through the mountain. All of you notice as you're watching Val, because he's coming towards the ship, and you see he's at the ladder, he's kind of securing stuff up, is you hear like this. It's not really a noise as much as like a feeling, like a bass beat of like a thump. And you see a purplish flash up at the mine that you were at the night before.
Yeah, Cedric's head snaps over. He grips his rapier and crossbow.
There was a purple flash.
Of light, yes.
Morse code.
Yeah, he
And then more like just like a thump noise that you
It doesn't
felt
sound
more than her here.
So it's not like the sound of a bunch of rocks falling in on each other. It's just one beat.
Just one beat.
he then Cedric's head whips over to Lorna, looks at her with earnest.
That doesn't look good.
He looks at Cattell, and then he hops over the side of the ship.
I follow him.
Well, Val, you see this as you're getting your things secure and you're about to hoist up, and you see them coming down.
Like in those Chinese movies where they just float.
Yeah. Guide wires.
I'm gonna whisper to Wynn very quickly. Perhaps go find the captain and Lexi and anyone else.
So Wind darts off.
And then I'm, with a groan, gonna follow. How far away is the mine to where our ship is?
From
Like,
where the ship is at, because you had to kind of cross over and different bridges and stuff and make your way up to it. It's about distance-wise, probably 100 yards or so.
all right, yeah, I'll follow them.
All right, Val, what you got going on as you're seeing them come down rather
ask-
rapidly?
What's going on?
Purple light. A flash. Just call it to him. We're gonna go check it out.
Yeah. Cedric's like anime shuffling away, hands on weapon.
Perhaps
Sorry to run.
remember, we don't have to necessarily just rush right. Never mind. Suppose I ought to offer some backup. I sent Wynn to find the captain, and then she runs off after the other two.
I continue taking the 350 gil to the captain and tell him what's going on.
Okay.
I just
All right.
imagine Wynn jumping up and down on his desk trying to communicate.
With all 4 hands. Wake up, man! All right, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll find out what's going on. So,
Da-da-da-da.
Okay.
5 minutes, and
Meanwhile, at the mine, just
It's a raid.
a steady bass line coming out.
Cattell does teach them how to dance.
All right, be right back, guys.
Played it, you're
And we're
right.
back. Hello, everybody.
All right, so we're back. So for the break, something was afoot back at the mine.
And not the game. That's a
Right.
different show.
So back at the cave or the mine that you had cleared out earlier, there was a flash of purple light and almost an inaudible thump noise. Cattell and Cedric rapidly are making their way to the mine entrance with Lorna not too far behind. Val proceeds up to the airship as Wynn goes to find the captain and or Lexi. So Lexi, who's in a very, 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 very deep slumber. I mean, so deep she's completely unaware of her surroundings and what's going on.
No drool.
Yeah. Is suddenly awoken by a splash of water in the face, which smells like your favorite breakfast beverage. A little cold though.
It's all over me.
But splashed into your face, so it smells great. Doesn't feel good. As you see Wynn there, with the empty mug, which like in big hands, because Wynn's small, so it's just all in the thing, and just kind of dumped it on you to wake you up, and it seems to be like chirping and chattering and kind of jumping up and down like something's up.
Okay. I'm up.
And she's like hurriedly makes her way to the exit of the of your berthing there, and then kind of comes back and around your feet, and then back over to the door, and then around your feet back to the door.
Okay. I'm grabbing my wrench and all that stuff, and I'm going.
Battle wrench.
Battle wrench.
Don't. Okay.
But yeah, I'm following Wynn.
She is bolting, like
Yeah.
seems very agitated and excited.
I can tell something is wrong, so
Yes.
I've got
Speed is of the essence.
I've got speed, so we'll go.
As you make it up to the top deck, at this point, Val, you're up there, and you're making your way to the captain's quarters. You see Val. He's walking the opposite direction from where you're coming up. And it's
What's
clear
going
he's
on?
going to the captain's
What's going
cabin.
on? What am I missing? What's going on?
Was this the same mine that we were in? Explosion in the mine was not my doing. And I walked to the captain's.
Disclaimer.
And I point. The others went that direction.
I'm like, did you do it with that attitude? Because
Yes.
I'm telling you, oh. As you walk by, like I tried to trip you. Fine. Okay. Is Wynn leading down or?
Wynn
Going to the
jumps
captain.
up on the railing on the side ship and is like pointing, but is not descending.
Okay. He's like, hell no.
No, she's got other orders. So she's took care of one of them.
I'm going down.
Okay,
Right.
so as you start to go
Peace.
down, she turns and starts bolting towards the cabin, the captain's quarters. Where Val, you're already there. What do you do?
I try to enter if it's unlocked. Or it's locked, I knock.
You just walk into the captain's quarters without even knocking?
Fine, I knock.
Okay, you hear, enter.
And I enter.
I see the captain's there, and he's got some charts laid out on a table, and looks up at you. I take it your escapade last evening was successful?
I drop the bags of guild on his table.
I'll take that as a yes.
There's trouble.
What now?
The crew is off to be damn heroes again.
What happened?
There was these purple glowing rocks in the mine. They apparently exploded just now.
He walks over to a cabinet, flings the door open, grabs his shotgun, and he starts walking off, muttering in a language you don't understand.
That's okay. I do
And
that
then
all
he
the
kind of
time.
pauses at the door and, are you coming?
Yes. I'm sorry. Captain.
Well then, let's go be heroes. He walks off. He stops momentarily, talk to Zev. Basically just tells like, that he's part of the ship. And Zev snickers through it. Meanwhile, the fast running people, you're running towards the mine as others are running from the mine. In terror, and as you draw approach, now you start to hear this like just kind of screeching, howling noise coming from the mine.
I kind of stop
Hmm.
Cedric. What do you think it is? This is your expertise, is it not?
He like looks around. Are we at the mouth of the mine or where are we?
No, you're not quite there, but you're close enough now that you're probably maybe 25 yards away from it now.
Okay.
I don't want to
Um,
rush in and get in trouble without being prepared like last time.
So the shriek, did it sound animal? Did it sound human?
Yes, and
Yeah.
something that is neither.
Oh. Nothing.
Definitely,
I could-
it was seemed to be like a singular call, but with many voices.
Nothing I could monster lore about.
You can try. I mean, yes, that's definitely something within your wheelhouse. This is going to be a tough one, but yeah, you can give it a go. I mean, hell, you rolled a 44 earlier.
20.
Yeah. So this is investigation, right?
Yes.
All right. And then monster lore gives me a extra. Well,
Yeah.
There it is.
No, I was the
Wah.
first.
Kittens. It's got to be kittens.
Oh, jeez.
Need to take a look.
he
Have you-
starts.
Do it quietly.
He looks at you, up and down.
Quieter than you. You should stay.
Quieter than me.
Yeah, he grips his rapier and hunches and stealths forward.
I roll the stealth roll, not you. You always assume you're stealthy.
I am fairly.
Oh, you're not.
No, that doesn't count.
Oh, right.
I roll the stealth checks.
I'm stealthy.
Sorry, that's supposed to be. That's supposed to be a
Oh,
blind
it's a
roll.
good thing he rolled the stealth checks because dang, big difference.
Okay, so he crouches down, and Cattell, he moves off because he's got to go across some bridges and to make his way up to where it's at. And he kind of, you see him duck around these group of tents that would lead up to the next, and you don't see him again. He's gone.
Okay, I'm going to hang back, but keep an ear out in case I need to rush in. Gonna trust that he's gonna come back with some intel.
Yeah. I just like full disclaimer here. I rolled a 20 for him, so his stealth roll was a 41,
Whoa.
and so he's like, "Where'd he go?"
That
I-
popped up on the screen. Just FYI, the blind roll.
That's true. It did. We did see it.
Yeah, but it didn't pop up in the
Yeah,
order.
Yeah, it didn't
In
pop
the
up in the
chat.
side thing. That's
We
right.
saw the roll, not the conclusion.
Yeah. So you make your way up there, and as you're drawing closer, and Cattell, you can see this too, 'cause it's fairly large. You see the mouth of the mine shaft, and you see first kind of coming out of the darkness because the light has died away. So kind of coming out of the shadows of the mine shaft, like this skeletal arm that
Oh no.
whips out and kind of wraps the side of the cave mouth, followed by this fleshy looking arm that comes out like maybe a foot or so away from it, and then another fleshy arm, and then another skeletal arm, all kind of like, and they all flex at the same time and start to pull forward. And you quickly realize that these are body parts that have somehow fused together into a hand of where each finger is like an arm,
Mm-hmm.
Ay, ay, ay.
and start to looks like it's pulling something.
How
out.
big?
Is
like
the
it's-
hand?
Yeah.
So this would be a finger.
Okay. Has Lorna caught up to us at this point?
Yeah, with all that dialogue. Yeah, so she's
I
catching
whip
up.
around. I point at her. Evacuate the village now.
To where? There's nowhere to
Anywhere
go.
but here. Away. Go.
All right. And I'll turn around and start looking for people, and I guess there's nowhere else to go besides the ship, right? There's no way down this mountain or anything like that.
They can. It's a ways going, but yes, you can eventually make your level by level by level down the canyon wall to get to the canyon floor.
I'm gonna start jogging back towards and just ushering everyone ahead of me that I can, heading back towards the ship, looking for Val, Lexi, the captain, anyone who actually semi has a role in the ship. But I'm ushering everybody to actually. Can I see if I can find do I see anybody that looks like they're in charge of the village at all?
Not right. So like in this very immediate vicinity, it's actually very sparse. There's not, everybody's running away from it already. So there's not a lot of people to interact with right now. So you're gonna have to go deeper down to start getting back where the people are. But they all seem to be heading as far from this as they can possibly. Yeah, they kind of are going in evacuation mode in a more chaotic fashion of just
Okay.
find a place to get away.
Seeing that, I'm gonna turn around. I think they're already doing it.
See if you can find Val.
All right. And I'll head back towards the ship, kind of, but I'm doing like the whole like looking behind me, trying to see if that thing comes out any further. I assume I saw it once I got up there.
Yeah, you could see that. And then the two of you see the same thing happening on the other side of the mine shaft opening as it's. So now it's on both. And again, you see the rocks kind of crack around where the arm fingers are gripping. Finger arms? I don't know. They don't have names for these things.
Farms.
Farms? Armingers?
Armingers.
So and then you hear the noise again. At this point, give me just not Val and not Lexi because you're too far away. Lorna, you're still close enough. Give me a resolve reaction roll.
Is that in the actions?
It's under
mind.
attributes on the mind section.
Okay.
It's the last attribute, RES.
That was a toot.
Ooh, that's not good.
Ooh, that's not good at all.
That was a check. That wasn't a reaction. She didn't roll a reaction.
Ah, you rolled the wrong
Oh.
thing. Okay.
You click the dice next to it.
Yeah, you want the die.
Oh, got it. Okay, let's try again.
Whew. That's it.
Oh, much better.
Much better. Okay.
That could have been bad.
Courage stands true as the noise just bellows out now, and this cacophony of just horrific screams just comes out of the mine entrance, and you see now not a one whole purplish light, but two purplish lights, yay part that start to grow larger and larger and larger as the screams coming out of it.
Out of the light?
Out of the mine shaft.
Okay.
From my position closer to the mine or thereabouts, is there anything about this thing or things that can help me guess at like what's going on?
I mean, you rolled a 1.
I rolled a 1.
So I'm feeling like, yeah,
Nothing.
it's hard to recover from that. You weren't even like on the cusp. You were
Not
really
even
well.
close.
This is not something you have ever experienced nor read about. This is definitely new territory for you.
But I see the same type of purple glow.
Same type of purple glow, and that certainly what is appears to be serving as fingers for this thing are undead body parts.
Okay. And it's like giving off big negative energy vibes.
Very much so, yes.
All right. I guess I'll just wait till it's fully emerged just to see if there's anything about its body that stands out to me, but I'll be like stealth somewhere.
Okay.
Not immediately in front of my.
All right. So you kind of move into a spot that you can still keep a sight line, but hopefully not in anything else's sight line. What is Cattell doing?
I'm going to try and get in a position where I'm not seen until the others come up.
Okay. Let me do a little quick check for you. Did you see that roll?
I did not. I was looking. How do I? Okay, there it goes. I did
Figured
not
it
see
out.
it.
Okay. All right. So you kind of duck away and stay in alert and keep an eye out for in both directions. Lorna, what's she doing?
I am seeing the next light and all that. I'm doubling my pace, just not even looking back anymore to get to the ship again and figure out what we're going to do. So I'm assuming Lexi and Val and the captain are probably coming down about this time.
I should be beating them because I went down before he went to go talk to the captain. So
Mm-hmm.
I should be getting there soon.
So if I catch up with Lexi, I'm
Yes, you definitely see. You see that because you're higher ground because you have to descend to get to them. So as you're kind of making your way through them, you see them you see Lexi first, and then a bit of a ways back, you see the captain and Val making their way up.
I don't know what it is, but it looks bigger than the things we fought yesterday. A lot bigger. I think everyone's evacuating. That's what Cattell said to do, but they're all running anyway. I don't think we can fit everyone on the ship, can we?
No, there's 150 people this town.
What's bigger?
The thing. I think
What thing?
I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I didn't see it very well. I ran.
That thing. As up higher, you see the where the armingers are gripping the side of the mine shaft, like crunch in really hard, and you see rocks and stuff crumbling and cracks forming out as it's like just like a force, and out comes this rock-like face with two eyes of glowing stones with you see undead bodies and skeletons and stuff like that, like kind of sticking out from it in different places as it comes pulling out and gives a terrifying roar. Everybody make a resolve check now. I don't have too many more of those.
I'm like slowly looking up and
Wait,
forsaken.
Was it a resolve check or a resolve save?
A resolve reaction. You were correct.
Oh, okay.
You did it right. I mean, I'd like to say no, you didn't do it right, but you did do it right.
Sorry, I was looking for it again. Oh, there it is.
All right, and then
Say my back is turned and I just hear it and it's like, Zah!
Is this a mind affecting thing?
yes, it is actually.
Okay.
Sorry, I got Captain was throwing an error on me, so I had to clear it. Because I know Cedric's got some special crap with that, so I gotta see what he can do.
It's under aptitudes.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Okay, Cedric's fine. Val, you're fine. Cattell, you're fine. Lexi and Lorna. All right, so. Oops, not that much. Lorna, you take 4 words composure damage.
Okay.
And Lexi, you take 6 composure damage. You're also shaken.
Oh, I'd say so. That was half my composure.
That's half my composure.
Oh.
Let's see here. Shaken. All right, so you are shaken. You take a -2 on all attack rolls, reaction, skill checks, and attribute checks.
Okay, so that means I should just
I'm gonna put that on your
-2 in my
sheet.
modifier.
No, I'm gonna put it on your sheet. It should automatically do it.
Okay.
I just let you know what's happening, so that way you know what's going on.
Okay.
Well, that is Cattell, which is
Real fast, in my aptitudes, I have willful, so I have a +1 to resolve it. Was that already added?
It's
into
already
my-
yeah. You see how like on your resolve how it's green?
Yeah,
That it's like that means it's applied it to it.
I was just making sure.
Yeah. All right. Let me put shaken on you too. Shaken, not stirred. All right. Okay, so as I said, it should automatically adjust for your roll, so you shouldn't have to do it yourselves until once, and then it'll go away, and your rolls will go back to what they were. Okay. That was so. Let's roll initiative. Roll initiative. I guess I should probably put you guys in the combat mode too. There we go.
Where's the initiative again?
Action.
Actions.
Oh, that's right. Okay. It's like, why am I not seeing it? My brain.
It's under power maneuver, under offense,
Offense, defense, very bottom left under that section.
right above melee
I-
weapons.
Oh, there it is. Okay, it's because I saw shaken next to it, so I wasn't.
I know that threw me off too.
That can't be. Oh.
Oh, God.
Definitely shaken.
Second time.
Shaken.
You are such an awesome role player. How you could get the dice to actually play into your status is amazing.
Well, I try. It's a lot easier when I go with failure each time.
All right, let's start it up. All right, first up is Cedric. So you are kind of to the side of this large head that fills up the entire opening of the mine entrance. So you're looking at probably a 15-foot circumference rock-like head that has now protruded out. It isn't looking in your direction though.
Right. Is there anything like, is there a way to, as he's frantically thinking, is there a way to like collapse the tunnel in on it before it can get out? Or
crush it, or
like is there an obvious rock that's like positioned right over the mouth of the
There's precariously poised this pole that's just sitting right there, and there's a little spike that says "pull here." And excellent!
like a
Love it.
Legend
he's
of Zelda
asking what I
rock.
was going to ask you
The
next on my turn.
the canyon where the mine shaft goes in at is on just a sheer vertical cavern wall. There's not rocks necessarily like protruding out of it.
Okay.
Now, could you collapse the insides of the mine shaft? Potentially, if you had the right equipment and tools to do so.
Fair enough. Okay. Not much for me to do here. I'm just gonna spend my turn observing. Are there any obvious weak points on the head aside from the glowing eyes?
Okay. Give me a planology with your monster lore kicker.
Planology. Planology. Okay, the kicker. Nope.
Man, you're just bound to turn like, I refuse to know what this is.
Yeah.
I will not
Cedric's-
accept you.
Cedric's a doer.
He turns to all of you. Disbelieve. Just disbelieve and he'll go away. All right, so that's his turn. Lexi, what are you doing? You are, at this point, probably 50 yards away. It should be 150 feet.
I'm not in range for anything. Well, crap. Because I need to get within range so I can attack. So I'm gonna have to move closer if I'm gonna be doing anything with even distance. So so I'll move in. Can I move in enough to? Because I need to be in 100. How do I know what's my movement? How do I know how far I can go?
So if you go to your abilities tab, you'll see your movement in there. So depending on how you want to move. So your standard, like on a move action, you have a 38, which gets rounded down, so it's 35,
Okay.
which would be 7 squares on a 5-foot grid.
Mm-hmm.
Hustle is double that, so it's a double move. But if you want to forego your defense, you could go into an all-out run, and that's that times 4, which would put you 150.
I wouldn't be going into all-out run because I'm shaken.
And go running the other way.
Yeah, that's well, because in my mind, even though with the side being like, I guess, like kind of like, because I'm thinking trying to attack the top of the inside of the cave to try to crush it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to get closer, so I guess I'll.
Well, if you're looking to get within like 100 feet or so, that would just be a double move. So it'd just be your action for this round.
Okay.
And that would put you within 100 feet.
Okay. I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Val, you're up. Oh no, I'm sorry. Before you go, I go. All right. I don't know if he can get there that far. It's just gonna do a move action right now because it doesn't see Cedric and Cattell yet. So it hoists itself out, and it's almost like on a rock-like serpentine body as it rises up out of the mine shaft, and so it's almost like its torso is coming out of the shaft, and its arms are free, and you see where it's got like the body parts of the different undead kind of making up its arms and hands and such as it looks around, and it takes a swipe and like just thrashes and like just destroys one of the bridges that's connecting as it's looking just around to cause some carnage. But again, you guys are too far away right now, so it hasn't quite locked onto to you yet, and it doesn't appear to see Cattell or Cedric. Now it's Val's turn.
I just saw Lexi run out towards it.
Yes.
I shout, "Go on, you damn fool, be a hero. Make your shots count." To help, and then I'll move. Just my basic move. I'm reluctant to move forward since this thing is half undead. Or mostly undead.
I feel like there's a Miracle Max joke there somewhere.
It's only mostly dead.
It's only mostly undead.
There's a difference. There's dead, and there's mostly dead. The friend here. Most.
Val has the same movement as Lexi does too, so you can move 35 and that's just a standard move, double that if you want to hustle, which is just 2 move actions. Your pistol range,
it's 40.
Yeah, so you got a bit more to go so that's your range increments. So you can still get shots further away. You just suffer a penalty because you're further away. So you don't have to get within 40 feet. 40 feet just puts you out where you're not suffering any penalty. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Captain moves along with you, and you hear him muttering like, "Should have brought a different gun." He's got a shotgun, which of course is close range. Cattell.
Okay, so I'm in my aptitudes, and I went to click the summon armor, but then it disappeared.
Do you see the little red exclamation point?
Nope.
Really? Because I do.
It was there, and then we rolled initiative, and it went away.
Oh, it went away. Okay. You're summoning your armor.
Yeah, I wanted studded leather this time.
All right.
Or no?
You got it. I just gave it to you.
I'm sorry.
I can take it away. It's okay. It doesn't. I can take it away.
I wanted leather. The studded leather would dock me.
All right, now try it again. Because I added, then I took it away, so it should pop up again.
My red thingy's not appearing.
Yeah, are you hitting on the X?
I am. And it takes the summon thing away option. And I don't see the red. Let me reopen it and see if it will. Oh, there it is. I had to reopen it. Okay. So
Okay.
I'm going to summon some leather armor. And quick question about my double spear thingy. I have to negate, what was it, 4 when I attack? Is that what it is?
No, it's light. Because I don't think we got 2-weapon fighting with you yet.
Oh, not yet?
That's why you weren't
Fine,
using
fine.
2 spears. I thought
No, you do have it actually. Yeah, you do have 2 up fight, so it's -2/-2.
Okay.
Because you have Spirit Dancer, so it's considered a light finesse weapon. So, and then you have 2-weapon fighting, so it's -2/-2.
Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and can I also summon those as part of my turn, or do I have to wait?
No, you can move.
Okay.
I had that wrong last time. It's 1 round you can summon, and the next round you can summon. Where if the first time you did it, we just had you summon both at the same time.
Right, yeah.
Technically,
Okay.
you're supposed to wait around between each one.
Okay.
So you had
I'm
a lot
just
of
gonna-
coffee that day when you did that first time.
Yes. Okay, so I have equipped my armor at this point.
Okay. And still staying undercover.
Yes, not
Okay.
revealing myself at this point.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
Okay. Which takes us to Lorna.
All right. Does it look like most of the townsfolk have cleared out and moved down to lower
There's
levels at this
no
point?
one around this area
Yeah.
where you're at.
Because that's the one thing. I'm going to take a moment to glance back at the ship. Do I see Wynn up there?
Mm.
All right.
And keep it in mind though, Wynn is small and you're far from the ship.
All right. I'm going to follow and probably pass Lexi and Val and the captain because I think my movement speed is like 38.
That's theirs too. You actually are the same speed.
Oh, okay. I thought I was a little faster.
Yeah, you probably, Val was just doing a double, so he's not moving as quickly. He's more moved at a, well, actually, no, Lexi did too. She did a double move. So they're moving more of like in a combat pace, like a trot. So if you're running, you're going to pass them quickly. But if you're kind of moving at that same kind of combat hustle.
So how does this work? Like how I know I get my 38 movement and then do I burn it my action or can I just use my bone? Like I know it's
You
not
get
called that, but-
you get a move action and a standard action
okay.
every round. So an attack is considered a standard action. So you can move and shoot.
Okay. No one else has shot. Okay, I'm going to move double my movement and see if I can find some kind of cover that gives me a view of this creature.
Okay. Roll a
So
perception check.
it was so sad of a roll. It was like
I know. I felt like it's almost like you just set it down on the table. All right, you think you found a pretty good spot where there's some crates and stuff and some barrels kind of set up by a building that could give you some decent cover.
Where do I know my range for?
If you click on the weapon itself,
it says, "You do not have sufficient permissions." I just
Oh,
want to make sure I'm
Lord.
in range. That's my goal.
Again, you're in range because
Okay.
yeah, with the
Then I'm not-
longbow, yeah. If you're moving about the same distance as they are with that move action, yeah, you're in range.
Yep. I think that's it.
So you can attack.
Oh, I thought I had to use both my double my movement to get there. No?
For a longbow, no, you don't have to go as far as they're going.
Can I hold my attack?
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to hold my attack before whenever one of my party members makes some kind of aggressive action.
Okay.
I'm aggressively cursing up a storm.
Yes, but if I
That's
shoot
its
you, I
one
might
weakness.
get in trouble.
Watch your profanity.
All right, Cedric, you're up.
Okay. Is it still like inching out of the thing, or is it fully exposed now?
It's fully exposed in that its like whole upper torso is outside of the mine shaft entrance now,
Okay.
towering over you.
As I pivot my head from whence I came, I'm still pretty far away from most people, right?
From where you really can't see the others at all because you're under
Okay.
such good cover for yourself,
Fair enough.
and
All
you're right up there by it too.
Yeah, I'll just start prepping myself, which is probably something I should have done before. I'm gonna pop a little vial out of
Okay.
one of my bandoliers, pop the cork out, and chug it.
Oh, Cedric had his mask down. Nobody saw it.
Yeah, no one saw it at all.
That's right.
There's like, on the screen, there's like leaves in the way as he.
Yeah.
And the bee-
A bird flies by.
So I know I can use alter movement. Is deflection something I can also use? Okay. Can I do both, like on separate turns?
No, because on separate turns, yes. Yeah, you can stack effects.
Okay. So for now, as black veins begin to bulge out, he's going to hit himself with alter movement.
Okay.
As his legs engorge, and
His calves turn into like that
Yeah.
big.
And we're
but-
missing it.
Wait, did you just Hulk out on
I was
us?
gonna say.
I'm
More
like,
like
and we're missing
Bane.
it.
and then he'll just like start prepping the next file. He
Okay.
starts looking at his bandolier.
It's not time to do drugs. Come on.
Well, that's the thing. Cedric's always on drugs.
Explains so much now. All right, Lexi, you're up.
All right. So I am close enough now, right?
Yes.
And well, Lexi's just gonna go in guns a-blazing, I guess. Let's see here.
Get it.
I'm going to. I'm not going to attack it. I'm gonna see if I can attack the top of the cave to see if I can get some of it to collapse on, I guess, the tail of it to maybe slow it from coming out.
Okay.
In my head, that's how it's gonna work.
So before you commit to that action, what this kind of looks like for Steve, because I'm not a CGI expert who could have like created the scene for all of you before this occurred, is that it's almost as like, imagine like here's this mine shaft, right? Let's kind of go back. Imagine like it's inverting itself, and so all the rock of the walls is like pouring out and making this creature.
Oh, so it's pointless for me to do that.
Yeah, because it's almost like
Okay.
the ceiling and the sides and the floor are
It's just
its
coming a
body.
part of it.
Yes.
Type. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to do that.
So while
then.
if you did it, it would be like you were attacking it. So, but
Okay.
just getting the sense of what effect you're looking for probably would not get the result that you're looking for.
Gotcha. All right, but it's all rocky and
It's rock, and there's some body parts mixed into it. You see some purple glowing like veins kind of in between some gaps in the rock, and then the two big it has like what a semblance of a face, but there's no mouth or nose. There's just these two glowing eye sockets.
okay. So it's not like skeletal whole. I mean, this thing is solid.
It looks pretty solid.
Gotcha. So okay. So it's not like the things that we were fighting before. So
Mm-mm.
okay, but I'm assuming bludgeoning would still be better. Alrighty, I'm going to do destructive blast and piss it off, I guess. That did it even
Oh,
roll
that looks
or just
cocked.
drop?
That was cocked for me. On the
That's happened for
16.
me.
Well, it wasn't
It
cocked
was-
for the
it
chat.
wasn't.
Yeah.
You should have
I didn't
plus
even see a
two.
roll. All I
Plus
saw was like,
two.
that's that
it
was
matters.
just Well, that would just take off whatever
Yeah.
shaken stuff
Yeah.
I
Gotcha.
have
So
on it.
it's an 11.
Of course. So it'd be 11.
No.
Oh yeah,
it'd
because
be
I
an
guess
11.
the -2. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So with
I
a
guess-
+2, you would have rolled an 11.
Yeah.
No, that's
No.
Question: does that trigger my held action?
yes, that would be an action that you were waiting for, which would put you at right after her in the initiative order, which puts you at 21. And now it's your go.
But
So
then will I go back to my normal initiative after?
this is your new initiative from now on. So what you do is you hold your action
Oh.
until your turn comes, until that triggering action.
Oh, that's interesting, guys. We could play with
Yeah.
that. I'm just going to throw that out there. That's an interesting tactic.
That is
Um,
interesting. Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. All right. So.
Well, the pro of it is that you get to move up initiative. The con of it, though, is you have to sacrifice an attack in a round to get to the top of the initiative order.
Yeah.
But depending upon where you're at,
Yeah. Okay. Then I'm gonna do this. 16.
that is a hit.
Oh, okay. 6 damage. I don't think anything gets added to that, right? No, it's just the straight. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna need to buy arrows eventually, guys. Just throwing that out there.
Probably.
Yeah.
How long
Used
does your
quite a few.
aid go into effect or stay in effect, Val?
I don't know. It's
Just next
One
action,
action, right?
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's just the next action. Okay.
Just to the next action.
Gotcha.
All right, so it's turn. Now it's got choices. So many choices. Let me make a roll here. So this would be one where you can really engage the audience. Be like, okay, guys, got to attack one of these 3 people. Who do you want it to be?
The white-haired
Who do
girl
you
that just did a light show, or
Well, there's been a lot. So somebody just actually hit it with an arrow.
It was like a shot, and then I ducked back in my little
It
box.
wasn't me. It wasn't me.
no, she's like right behind me, so it looks like me.
No, Lorna's just standing there pointing at Lexi. Throws her bow. It's her. It's her.
No.
Okay, so let me roll that. But also, we had a bit of a little magic summoning going on to its side that could have got his attention. So say 1, 2, 3, it's Lorna. 4, 5, it's Lexi. 6, it's Cattell.
Why do I get 3?
Because you hit it. You actually struck it. She
okay.
missed, and Cattell's just summoning stuff. So
But
that's why
I'm
it's like
behind the boxes.
well, it's not like it's still like
It was over on the bench.
so its attention turns to where this arrow came
It's
from.
fine. I'm just kidding. Okay.
I was like, but this and that, and it where its eyes, like right under it, suddenly it just like rips open, revealing like this rocky maw, and just belches out this purplish energy light that just shoots down
Oh,
towards where Lorna's
Ooh,
hiding, which is why hiding behind the didn't really because the whole thing's gonna get struck. Make an agility reaction roll
Oh lordy,
oh, okay.
roll high.
as you leap out of the way.
That didn't even roll. That was like a
It like hopped on my screen. It went boom, 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 and then bounced back.
No, mine are just bump, bump.
Oh, that's not good. Okay,
Really.
sorry.
I'd like to point out, everybody, I'm supposed to be good at agility and dexterity. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well,
Sounds like
you
you
remember
need
you're
some-
suffering the -2 because you're shaken, so that affected it a little bit. You're not on your A game.
I agree, Val. She needs new dice.
New
for-
dice, yeah, from
Yes.
Dice Games. Yeah, it popped up. Geek Nation
Just
down
shove
there.
those right into the screen.
Okay,
Oh,
so you
Lord.
take. Hold on, I gotta do this in stages. 5 points of vitality damage.
I hate when he says you have to do this in stages.
5 points of composure damage,
Holy cow.
and 6 points of spirit damage.
Whoa.
Oh
Well,
crap!
and that would have been less, but you failed your. So I mean, you just took that full on. So you guys, for those of you kind of watch, you see this like just this purplish energy just shoot right where Lorna's arrow came from, because she did go undercover, and it just all of the crates and barrels just explode, and you see her kind of tossed to the side a little bit, and
Whoa.
just things just flying in the air now as it struck that place, and you see it's all where it struck. There's still like this purplish glow, kind of still like almost like burning in that space. Okay.
Not good.
No, not at all. Run away! Run!
Val, it's your go.
Oh,
As you
crap!
saw this happen, and you see Lorna is.
Oh, I'm on the ground, guys.
Yeah.
You see her like shoving herself up underneath the box. It's like,
I run away. Just kidding.
I was like, nope.
Get a Val. You see his Val's the
There's
back
money
of Val.
on the boat. Let's
You
go.
do an anime run like this
He's out running out across the canyon on air.
with the dust behind him. No, how far is Lorna away?
From where you are, probably 15 feet or so. She's not, I mean, you were all kind of collectively moving in that direction. She's a little bit behind you because she didn't have to move up as far. So I'd say about 15 feet or so.
Oh, she's behind us. Okay.
Yeah, she got range.
If I looking around, is there more cover perhaps?
Yeah, as periodically spread throughout, there's like, just because this is I mean, it's a mining village, so there's like there's stuff sitting around outside. It's like a functioning village, so there's places to duck behind. There's buildings you can get behind. Each one though putting you at different distances from this creature.
Okay. I would like to move back to Lorna, and are you still holding your bow, or would you be?
Yeah, she's still got that.
you
Okay.
would not let go of that.
Yeah, that's her death. That'll be in a death grip for her.
I would like to get her out of the way, but to safety. So I just touch her shoulder, and we bamf away.
Okay. Which direction are you bamping to? Further back towards the ship, to the sides, like where there's cover, or
to the side where there's cover.
Okay.
Away from where she was.
Gotcha.
Away from its attention.
Yeah, and you've got range, so it's not. I mean, you could go a good distance and to decent cover. So he moves you over to one of the more permanent structures there. So that's like a solid building between you and it. And being that you teleported, there's no trail on like what direction you just went in. So, Lorna, you're sitting there like, what the hell just happened? As you just got hit mentally, spiritually, and physically with this effect. And so you see a hand on your shoulder, which makes you jump because you're already shaken. So you jump, and then everything goes dark, and then it's light again, and you're someplace completely different. And Val's there.
Are you all right?
I think so. No. Ow. Where are we? That's about all she gets up.
Captain moves upwards. He's still not in range, so he just using cover continues to move upwards. Cattell.
Okay, so on my summon weapon, it's double spear is what I'm wanting. Okay.
Yep.
Double
So
speed.
I miss bonus actions.
Right?
I will summon my double spears. Choo, choo, choo. That's
Just
it.
like that. Choo, choo, choo. Pew, pew, pew. All right, so the haft of the spear just kind of emerges out from both sides of your hands and ends in the spear tips.
I do have a quick question. So I thought leather armor was a 2, and here it's saying only 1.
It is. It is a 1. All right, which part are you talking about for damage reduction?
The damage reduction.
Yes, because it also, one thing I did not take in consideration when I was plugging these things in is I did the damage reduction and the defense actually gives you defense bonus too.
Oh, okay.
So your defense actually goes up a little and you get that damage reduction. And what I had done is I heavy-handed the damage reduction and didn't take the defense in, so I fixed it.
Got it. Okay, just wanted to clarify that for my
So
own
you're
brain.
yeah.
Cool.
So what does ever get through your defense will also be deflected by that damage reduction.
Okay.
All right, and you can move as well if you want to, but you would be leaving cover if you did.
Right. I don't get another action. I can't like attack it, right?
Mm-mm.
No. So I'm gonna stay put.
Okay.
If it hasn't noticed me, there's no reason for me to.
Yeah. There's a little light show going on over there, but no, didn't
It's
notice you
behind
last for.
something. It's behind something.
That's right. So yeah, it's like it didn't catch you last time, so we'll see if it does this
we'll
time.
See what happens.
Which brings us around to Cedric.
Okay, as Cedric comes to his feet, he pulls out yet another vial, downs it, and the skin that you can see around here becomes slightly darker and gray. And then he starts like just moving along stealthily, trying to get closer to the. Like, is there any debris on the way to the entrance?
Nothing
of the mine?
like that would provide good cover. Like if you move towards it to like in within melee range, you would be leaving cover.
Okay, how close can I get? Like how
Now,
many feet away from the?
You can get right up to him. You're really close by. You would be completely exposed, but then also it's kind of past you. So if you imagine like here's the ledge that you're on, it's out here looking around, and you're like there. So you're kind of next to it, like parallel to its body versus where its head is.
Yeah, I want to try and stay out of its line of sight and just like skirt around behind as I prepare for my action next round.
Okay. So unless it turns direct over that direction, you're not in a sight line if what those things are eyes.
Okay. And he's just like crouching low. His big, now juicy legs are propelling him forward.
Juicy legs.
Yep.
That's the name of this episode.
I would never put that with Cedric. Juicy legs.
Juicy legs.
When I think Cedric.
Okay, so he's cautiously making his way in, which brings us to Lexi.
Alrighty. I'm going to do Destructive Blast again.
Come on.
Come on.
No.
Are you freaking kidding me? That is my second one tonight. And I've done like roll like what, 3-4 times?
Oh, we were all so bad during combat.
Right?
I'm going to go back to the ship and go back to bed.
You know why you shouldn't have woke up.
I know.
It was a bad day. Okay,
Yeah.
that goes into the side of the cliff, and just a blast of rock just
Tell me when the
falls
battle's
out.
done, guys.
Lorna, so you're there with Val.
I'm gonna peek around trying to get my bearings. Do I see the creature? I'm assuming I do.
Yeah, you can see it just slightly kind of over the building. You're on the opposite side of it from where you started. So he moved you completely to the other side of the mine shaft.
Can I shoot it from here?
Yeah, with just a slight move, yeah, you can move to a spot where you can kind of basically to the side of the building. You can kind of duck around the side and take a shot, and
Then move back.
yeah, and then just move right back into cover.
Okay. And okay, but because I'm moving, I only get one shot.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Why not? I'm a little confused by this martial focus to increase the damage dealt option.
So you spend a martial focus, which it comes back each round, and you only get one attack anyway per round. So basically, you can actually add it into every attack if you wanted to.
Oh, I wish I had known that. I would have done that damage earlier, considering how much he did to me. All right, sure, why not? I'm gonna do that and take a shot at it.
That's not gonna do it. Although,
am I still in -2?
yeah, it's ending at the end of this
Okay.
this round.
That shot goes wide. And then I'm going to duck back around into the hiding and look at Val. I don't know if you can kill this thing. What do we do?
Those barrels exploded, right?
Exploded more of the energy than what was ever
Okay.
inside of them.
Yeah.
So there's no like black powder here.
No,
There might be somewhere in here, but that was that was
I'd be
not black powder.
splattered.
That would,
That would be
there would be
done.
no Lorna anymore.
Nope.
I
I'd be
even see his
rolling
pieces
in
are
nuclear.
flying off the side
Hey,
of the
guys,
cliff.
It was fun.
Bye.
Yeah, that's my turn. I don't have anything else. So
All right, so its turn now, and it's got all right, so we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. It's Lexi. 5, 6. It's Cattell. Lexi. At this point, it's because it's I gotta wait for that to recharge, but it throws a well, it was a pretty good attack. So it throws just a handful of just rocks and rubble in your direction. That's still going to be an agility save or agility reaction.
come on, Lexi.
Action.
That's an AOE.
God, this is.
So
You
many of the dice
take-
aren't even rolling. They're just like. Whatever.
How when I showed it actually roll across the whole thing, just slow.
You take 7 points of vitality damage, which can't get half because you failed your roll. So that's just all on you, just as you just get pelted by stones and rocks and such.
This thing's tough.
Yeah.
The not saving isn't helping any because a lot of
Yeah.
that stuff is like you get half of that.
The ones
half of
are
that.
not helping.
Starting to think Lexi is cursed.
I'm there
Um,
with you.
Val.
I want to do something crazy.
Oh, boy.
Please do.
Go for it.
Do I have to pay an edge to say that there's a powder keg, or like a barrel of black powder?
No, you'd have to say you just have a plot point, but you don't have any.
I don't have a hero point?
A plot point? No, you don't have any. You spent it
Oh,
already.
crap.
You spent it to get Lexi out of
You
the.
saved my life.
Yeah,
with
you
that.
spent
Didn't we
a
level
plot
after
point.
that? Don't we get those
Yeah,
back
we
on level?
leveled.
Yeah, that's true. We
Do
leveled.
you get them back on levels?
No.
No,
You get
I, think
that
you have to, I have to earn them, right?
playing true to character, but I haven't compelled him or anything since that happened.
Oh.
So edge you get when you level.
Can I?
Now somebody else could spend a plot point to make that true.
Do you really want it?
Yes.
I'm about to do something really cool, maybe.
Well, you keep it then.
Okay.
Because you can gift a plot point.
I was going to teleport it in its mouth and then come back and shoot at the barrel.
Oh,
That's kind of cool.
I will,
cool.
I will give my plot point
Oh,
just because
Sal.
I want to see that happen.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right,
really
so,
cool things are about to happen, just so you know.
All right.
Mandalorian
Okay, so
with
Lorna
this.
spends the plot
assets
point.
here.
How do I gift it?
The gift box.
Oh,
Thank
there you
you.
go.
There you go. You did it.
I can't remember where that
You
goes.
spend it.
What? Where are they at? To spend
Down
it?
at the bottom left.
Yeah, you really could have just done a perception check to see if there was one around us before we did all this.
There
I'm
wasn't
too-
one there.
Oh,
I mean, there
okay.
is now.
Oh, see.
Oh, shoot. Oh, wait. Are you talking about this? She just lifts it up.
Yeah.
She's
I'll look
sitting on
for
it.
and- I don't want to slow it down. I'll spin it when I find it. I'm going to go ahead and do this.
I
action.
gotcha. I spent it for you. There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't even find. I don't know where it's at either. I was looking.
It's down by the player names.
So
in the
grab
bottom
it,
left corner.
teleport up to its mouth using
Got it.
what is that ability? Segmented warp, and jam it to its maw, and then use the rest of that teleport back out in a different direction, or down close in range so I can fire at it, the barrel.
All right. So segmented warp.
So I can do an action in between. Oh, I was going to spend. This is where I was going to spend my edge to do the extra attack on the barrel.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was going to say. Is you probably need to throw an edge in there to get that extra
Yeah.
shot, because the segmented warp's going to take care of grabbing it, putting it in its mouth, and teleporting back.
that's the
and then
edge.
the edge will give you the. All right, and here's your attack.
Oh boy!
This is going to be hard.
All right.
I'll say that.
No, good. You got
Come
it.
on.
Well, I mean, it's a
Got it.
called shot he's pulling off here, so
Oh no!
Oh, that was so close.
that was 18. That was a freaking 18, and it moved over to the.
I feel like you should just give it to him.
Maybe I could just do another edge. Just shoot
An
again.
extra action.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, he's clearly going to level after this one.
Clearly, Steve, we're gonna level after this one.
Oh.
Eh?
That's a hit.
Hey!
All right, so roll your damage for the gunshot, because it's going to go through the barrel and hit it. So let's get that out of the way. Okay, so 7. Okay, and then roll 5d6 for the gunpowder.
All right.
Whoa.
Whoosh.
18. Ah, he felt that. All right, so
And that run away.
we're like, that's so cool. No, never mind. He's run away. Now, if he just stood there on top, like the roof of the building, he's like, that'd been cool.
I feel like that's
Alright,
what the
so-
captain does.
Funny thing, yeah, too, is like how fast this occurred, because he's all like he's blinking across this battlefield, so it's like pew, 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 pew. And like it's somebody don't even realize even actually what just happened, because suddenly the entire half of this thing's face just blows up, and rocks just go spewing out. Fortunately for you, Cedric, in the opposite direction of where you're at, because it's all going side to the side. Cattell just short of where you're at, so you're out of the fray. It also, one of the eyes goes dark, and the entire the left eye, and the entire left side of it just completely just crumbles and just falls into pieces, and it only has one arm.
Okay.
That's
Gross.
good.
And the captain is in range now. He takes his shot.
Come on, Captain.
And he misses.
No.
Oh, Captain.
Yeah, he's like, what's the point?
Go back to the ship.
That's
was
what
very,
I'm
very
saying,
distracted.
Captain.
That's
He's
I'm
like,
back
he
here.
just,
saying
he
that
just
the
turns
whole
around.
time.
It's just him and Val just walking away. Like, forget it.
He was very distracted by Val's,
Yeah.
Nightcrawlerness.
Well, he had to get pretty close too. So yeah, a lot of that stuff he kind of like just little dust and debris kind of hit him as he fired his shotgun. Cattell, who is now armed and armored.
Can I close the distance between myself and the creature?
Yes.
Cool. Then I'm going to take a whackety whack at it. And I have 2 spears, so I get 2 attacks, right? That's how it works.
-2. Yeah, because
Got it.
you're basically like deesh deesh. Yeah, it's
Okay.
doing a double thing.
Whoa.
Nice!
Crit.
Holy that is a crit. Okay, so go ahead and do the second one, and then we'll resolve all that craziness.
Oh.
All right, so the
So
second
it's a
one
10.
missed. First one is a crit. So you're going to do go ahead and roll, or it's max damage. So what's the maximum damage you can do with that weapon?
1d8.
So 8. You have any strength or anything?
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't.
Just
See,
click the
one-
damage. I'll tell you if you do or not, because it'll be in
Okay.
the damage result. Yeah, you got a +3. So 8, 11
Okay.
points is what your max is.
Okay. I didn't know I had any strength.
Some of that's too is your ability, but
Right.
your total damage that you can knock out and max out is 11. All right, so and then he takes a point. All right, So you run up and you stab out the first blow. Just digs deep into the stone and like a glowing part that you can see in a gap, and you jab that in there, and it like light just flashes out around you, which blinds you a little, which is why the second attack didn't strike true. So you was kind of like weren't expecting that bright light. So you did some serious damage to him, plus some of the little additional stuff that will drop him.
Who? I did additional stuff?
Yeah. And yeah, so you do your max damage to is like what you guys would consider vitality, and now he's taken into his wounds as well. So he's physically hurting now too.
Cool.
I mean, you
Does
did
Cattell
blow up
have a
half.
sister, sibling that needs to join the party?
In the middle of the fight. Just hey, do you have any siblings?
Yeah.
I'm ready to
Curious.
roll up a new person.
Everybody comes back as Cattell's family members. Hi, we're here to join.
No, does someone actually ask that?
Oh, no, Lexi, you
Be
yelling that out?
interesting.
Just Lexi's just. Do you have a sister?
I don't know.
Or a cute brother.
I don't know if I have any siblings.
Do you want one?
You just see Lorna look
Do you
around
want
the side of the building like, what is going on?
You want one?
Wait, that was a serious round. That thing took some freaking massive
Yeah.
About
damage.
time, jeez.
All right, Cedric.
Okay, now Cedric just sprints out, and he's gonna attempt to mount the creature. If
Okay.
That's a.
You're gonna ride it.
That would be
Lorna.
acrobatics roll.
Sorry.
Okay. Thanks to my juicy legs, I get a +2 to this roll.
It's not getting better. You're gonna mount him with your juicy legs.
That's right. That's what I'm doing. Wait, sorry. Was this athletics or acrobatics?
Acrobatics. Okay.
He is
And then
mounted
what?
with the juicy legs.
I'm gonna try to jump up its body to stab my rapier into its eye.
With your juicy
Excellent.
legs.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you were successful in running up the side of it. So,
Oh, and I'm gonna swift action judgment this thing.
judgment. Which judgment?
Judgment. The coolest one. Smiting. My
Yes, smite it.
my what's it called? My rapier glows with holy light.
Ooh.
As I jump up and try to ram it into its eye.
Okay. It's gonna be a little harder, but
Yeah,
you're already up there.
I'm up there. And
Do
I
it,
may edge
do it.
this if it's not great, so hang on before you pass judgment. Okay, I'm gonna edge this.
Oh, so swift actions are like bonus actions.
Do I click?
Yes.
Click this. Nope. Okay, I roll a 1d6. Uh, 18.
For a total of 18. That's a strike. That's a hit.
Yay!
Yes.
Oh, and damage.
All right. So
And-
yeah. So do your damage
So this is considered
plus your
divine,
holy light.
for for overcoming damage resistances.
Damage.
Sorry, magic for bypassing damage reduction.
All right. So that run up and you jab into it, and it kind of lurches backwards, and now it's almost like you see like spewing, almost like liquid light, kind of firing out this purplish stuff shooting out, but it's still glowing, but it's certainly hurt.
Sorry, subtract 2 from that because my modifier was still on. So that should only be 8 damage.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's perfectly healthy then, and he's fine.
Okay, okay.
Those 2 points.
That was 2 points for the doozy. That's what did it. Okay, so yes, and you're up there, hand on one side of the rock. The rapier like dug into its eyes, like the stuff's just firing past you. The light of the holy light of your rapier, battling against that purple necrotic light that's coming out of its eye socket. Which brings us to Lexi.
Okay, so if I aim at him, I gotta hurt Cedric now? Because he's like on him.
You have a -4.
A -4. Okay.
Cedric looks at you.
Take the shot.
What?
Shoot them. Shoot them both.
Okay, so I put the -4 in the modifier, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And the good thing is your shaking is gone. So I didn't.
Oh, did you take that off? Yeah.
That's already gone. So.
Alrighty. I'm aiming and doing my thing. Or not.
Oh.
Oh my freaking god.
So Lexi has become the Jubilee of the group. Great fireworks show.
Spirit
Not much
fingers,
else.
You guys are doing so great.
Pew, 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 pew.
God. I'm telling you, I need a new character. She sucks.
No, I
Put
like
some new
her.
dice.
She's cursed. Either that or I'm gonna get a
I feel like we
camera
know
that's gonna
somebody who
go
can
and
help
I'm
us out with that
rolling
dice
here with my
situation.
dice.
Looks
All right,
like you've
Laura,
got
you're up.
prismatic pain. What you're
Real
looking
fat-
for
what-
is polyhedral pleasure.
Wow. Far shot and precise shot don't give me anything, so we can worry about that later, just so you know, because I don't know what those do.
Far shot is gives you your range increments. You normally so I guess this helps for Val too, because when you're shooting, you get a -2 for every full range increment that further away you are. When you have far shot, you only suffer a -1. So it just basically means you're better at shooting from distances. And then precise shot means you can shoot into melee without the -4 penalty. So what just happened to Lexi?
Yes,
You
that's
don't
what I
have
was
that.
asking. That's what I was
Yeah.
looking for. Okay, I'm gonna spin around and okay. And then
Yeah, it looks
I'm
a lot
gonna-
different from the last time you poked your head around there.
Yeah, yep. That's looking, that worked. And I'm gonna go ahead and use precise shot. Or I don't have to call that, but I
Yeah,
am
you
gonna
just-
be
yeah.
using. I am gonna apply my deadly shot to it.
Okay.
Seriously?
Man. Do you want a plot point?
I forget.
That is
I can use an edge to roll a d6, right?
Yes.
Sure, why not? Hopefully we're leveling up soon.
Okay, so roll d6.
My problem is I'm just rolling so bad. Edge doesn't even help me.
That makes that a hit, actually. I'm actually
Yeah!
thinking
Okay.
of changing that too, to just make it, if you spend an edge, you just get X number of points. So that way, because that's a big spend to have a maybe. To
Yeah.
spend it and then you still don't get it. And you're like, well, that was big like last week. But all
Oh,
right.
come on.
Oh, that.
But my plus a d10, which I didn't add last
Yeah.
time. I called
Right.
it and I didn't add it.
Yeah,
And I
you
realized it
didn't add it.
after.
Deadly
talked about it.
shot. Yep.
We even talked about it and I was like, all right, I'm done. And then I went, wait, dang it. Because you should pay attention to those kind of things, people. I usually have them written at the top of my paper so I don't forget.
All right, so Cedric, as you're up there, kind of this thing's moving around, you see an arrow just like thunk into the big open side of its face. There's an arrow just thunks into it,
And I'm back in my
sticks.
hidey hole.
and yeah, you look to see like where'd that come from. You don't know. There's nobody there. It's a ghost arrow.
It's a ghost arrow.
All right, its turn, and I know what it's going to do. So, Cedric, so you're hanging on the side of its face, and it just swings its whole head right into the side of the canyon wall. So you need to make a damage is about to happen, or do you want to make an agility reaction to try to clear the way?
Oh, wait, what are my options? Jump out of the way or just like
Or-
deal with it?
Or just deal with it?
See if you can last longer than 8 seconds.
I see. So either take the pain and stay in the game or jump off the beast are my options.
That's your options.
He's kind of dug in here. He's just gonna like hang on.
Well, hello. Ow.
Okay. This is not going to feel good.
I doubt it.
9 points of physical damage.
Ow.
Eek.
All right, so you, boom, and all you guys just see is that it just turns its head to the side and slams the wall, and you don't see Cedric.
Oh,
Not
and
at
this
all.
is
And
reduced
Catal's
by
like right underneath.
this is reduced
Yeah.
by like damage reduction and stuff, right?
No, because it is bigger. It's too big. It overrides
big.
damage reduction.
So I see this happen. I'm just like, Cedric!
Blinding light coming from the dust as it comes back into view.
And he's like there.
his hat's off.
Has he lost the scarf on his face?
No.
Okay.
We want to see his face. Know why
It's gonna
Val
become
Much
lost
like
the
Val's
Val's
horn,
horn,
there's
yeah.
lots of mysteries. What's under Cedric's mask? Where did Val lose his horn? Does
No.
Cattell have siblings? These are all questions we have to
Does
find
Lexi
out.
actually hit?
What language is Lorna speaking to him?
What is win?
Yeah, what is
win?
win?
Win.
And what is Zev laughing about? Okay.
One day we'll
Yeah.
know.
Val, you're up.
I would like to teleport.
Something badass again.
No, it's not as badass, but I like to teleport using a segmented one, stopping like above the creature and firing down upon it before I teleport back.
Okay.
Spend my essence. And I like to spin another edge to fire off 2 shots while I'm above it.
Well, hold on a second before you. Let me get your. There's something. I can't find it. Because I think. You didn't pass for a person, blah, 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 provided you have enough tests so far 6 training. Okay, never mind. Just want to make sure with the revolver what you could do. Okay, so you
Okay.
blink above them,
Mm-hmm.
shoot down, and then blink away.
Whoa.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. Can I spin an
Can you do
edge to
that?
do 2 shots?
Bayonetta over here.
How do I take
So
my
you have
first shot?
2 teleports. You could take 1 action of any kind you have
Mhm.
remaining, which you will. You have the 1 shot. You could spend an edge because that's the rules to
Okay.
get an extra attack. So yes, you can get 2
Okay.
shots.
So I spin my essence to teleport, and here's
Okay.
the first shot.
Nope.
All right. And the second shot.
Oh,
That one
it's
does hit.
almost
Though.
a 20.
I know. I keep saying. I
That's
was like,
us.
I hate that it's actually like a real die. So it actually, you're like, oh, no. All right. So the first shot goes wide. Second one strikes true for
8 damage.
cross threshold. Okay. Captain.
Come on, Captain.
Go.
Oh, Captain Mike. Oh, Captain.
What the hell?
He's not super useful.
It's
No,
okay,
neither am
Captain.
I. That's right.
Captain
Captain
kinda
and I are
sucks.
we're buds.
Yes, but you have finesse. The captain just keeps firing the same gun and hoping for a different result.
Right.
Captain shooting sideways. Like this.
Having a hard time following up after me.
Lorna ducks. Lorna ducks is it like pellets in? Why?
I gotta roll percentages here though.
Oh no.
No. Yeah, it's a gun.
Okay.
Oh no.
Catal, your go.
Okay, I'm going to attack.
Attack.
Dagger.
Attack.
Spear. Spear.
Spear.
Spear.
So she's using a spear it's basically speared on each end.
Natural 20.
Holy crap!
Do it again.
I'm
Do it again.
changing- I'm
Do it
changing
again.
the color of my
Do
bag.
it again. I
You
know. I
already
know.
crit, right? You already crit.
I did.
Yes, this is 2 crits. And the
That's 2
second one
hits.
hits. So you got
Oh
2
my
hits. The
God.
first one's a crit.
Cool. Okay. So I only need to roll once, right? Because it's 11 damage for the crit.
Yes, it is.
That is, yeah, 9.
It's only 1d8 though, not 2d8.
Yeah, I don't know why it keeps rolling 2.
I know why.
Is it because it thinks I'm attacking it twice with the 2? Is it 2?
It's because I put
Okay.
the d8 d8, so it's too smart for me. It's actually we'll do
Got
that
it.
2 times.
Got it.
Just to show, so for this particular weapon you're using, so you crit on an 18 or higher regardless.
And so that was a crit too, because
Yeah.
it was an 18.
Right.
I forgot about that. Yes, I'm so cool. Only in D&D am I cool.
It's not true.
See, kids, that's why you should play D&D. The 3 that's in the parentheses next to it, that is what is direct wound damage. So on top of, even if it has vitality, whatever you see in that percentage is straight wound damage. So in addition to 11, and then if it runs out of vitality, all of it becomes wound damage.
Freak, I'm a freaking badass.
So that's...
I didn't know how cool I was, you guys, until this very moment.
I just keep on getting more jealous.
You're
I
right.
really, can I make this my real life person? I want Catal in real life. Can we forget this whole real life thing?
What is real
Alright.
life? If
I don't
only
have like a really cool
representation of part.
catchphrase for like how do you want to do this, but
I mean, it is how do you want to do this? Let's
how
just
do you
be
want to
real.
do this?
Oh,
Okay.
come on.
So I'm going to flip my spears in both hands, kind of away from each other, so they don't get knocked around. And then I am going to jump up onto the cave side wall, jump up onto it, and then do the double spear right into its head.
So
Okay.
Right up
Cedric
next
winks
to-
at you as he's hanging there.
just looking at him with this little beleaguered.
Florida peeks around the wall right as this happens, and it's just like,
As you come out, you see, Cattell just kind of does a parkour. It just kind of springs up, and is on its head in mere milliseconds. And as she makes that last leap from the wall, she brings the spears up, twirls them, and then brings them straight down in an open gap that was left open from half its face, and just dives in, and just an explosion of purple light just bursts out, and almost like plasma, because it's got like a physical like liquidy type thing, and it's just like splatters and falls, and rides this thing down to the ground as it and just sitting there kneeling on it as Cedric rolls out of the way, I assume, so he doesn't get crushed.
Again.
Yeah.
Second time's the charm.
And it is not moving. And you see the lights pulse, slowly going away until there's no pulsing left at all.
Can I reach? And these are the stones that were in its eyes?
There was glowing from the sockets of
Mhm.
like where its eyes would be,
And
but they're not
there's-
glowing anymore.
Can I tell if they're the same kind of stones we were seeing in the cave the other
That
day?
close? Yes. As you're right down, it was certainly that same light, and it probably wasn't a stone, but many stones that was making up its mass.
Okay, I'm just gonna pull my spears out. Everyone all right?
Cedric shoves himself off the ground, dusts himself off, and like fixes one of his shoulders.
Sorry.
Lorna's gonna start like walking up towards them
Me
quickly.
too.
Like the minute she saw that attack start to happen, she was already moving forward. Is it dead?
I think so. It seems that I'm guessing I'm not a specialist when it comes to magic, but it seems that it was these are the stones that were inside the cave that we found yesterday.
I'm gonna walk over and one of my arrows that's probably sticking out of it, I'm going to try and shove it further in, just for good measure, and then pull it out.
Jerk. Who else has planology? I know because Cedric's already made, but I think somebody else. Cedric, you already rolled yours, and you rolled out the one, so you don't know anything. But
Maybe
I thought somebody else did.
I mean, I have some arcana,
I
but
have planology.
Not our
I've-
I
planology.
don't know
Yeah,
what
That's
I have
planology
it.
is. I don't think I have that.
Yeah, do a
Give me a
planology
roll.
roll. Yeah.
I changed it to gold, just so you know.
Yeah, you're not gonna get much from that roll.
Of
This,
course.
yeah, because you haven't encountered anything like this before, but you assume it must be some type of earth elemental wrapped up in that nether rock, which is always a healthy mix.
Yeah. I'm gonna go check in the cave to see if the purple rocks are still glowing in there.
I'm going to
Cedric
come with
nods.
you.
Wait, hold on a second. Do you still have your you wouldn't have the lantern anymore, would you?
Oh shoot, no, I wouldn't.
Never
mind. I won't see anything.
I'm gonna pick up a stone off the ground and I will cast daylight on it.
Okay. Daylight.
And then
All
I'll
right.
hold it out to you.
Thanks.
Just to stay true, we're gonna end here.
You're illuminated by a daylight rock as you step inside the cave.
As you step inside the cave.
You have
Tune in
60
next week.
feet. 60 feet
Yeah.
of light.
60 feet of light. I'm gonna write that down. I'll put it on our token.
Oh
Okay.
man. Hey, look, you guys. Right over 3 hours.
That's right.
Woo! We did it.
Nice job.
Excellent work. Crits galore.
Yeah, that was epic.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
way
was
to double
insane.
crit.
I'll say that would be a pretty cool action scene between the even
powder keg.
sorry, like
I mean, it
Lorna
was
took the
all-
blow, but that was
It.
like an epic blast. She's out of the
Oh.
way, and then back into the fray, and then, yeah.
Just for good measure, can we say that I would have cast on myself what is it?
Yeah.
Not
Here.
heal. No. Restore at least once to restore some of my spirit points because I'm pretty far down.
Oh yeah. You gotta throw one of those out real quick.
Okay. Really?
That is
Doesn't help.
aggravating.
Mm. Isn't it plus? It's 3 though, right? Because it's plus your arcana level, right?
Nope.
Oh, it's
I don't
just
think so. It just says
yeah. Because I think that might have been I think that might have been
1d6.
cure.
Yeah, cure is, but cure wouldn't do anything for spirit, would it?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Now, unless your spirits were down because you were low on.
So this doesn't take me up the corruption level. This just adds 1 to my spirit,
Correct.
correct?
Unless you're doing a restore directly to it, which would be 1d2.
Oh,
Where
I
it says
think that's
spiritual.
better.
Yeah, you see that?
Well, I'll do that. I'll do that as well. How about
Okay.
that? I have them. Although the last time I said we aren't going to fight anything.
I know.
We're fine. Nothing's gonna happen. We beat everything up last time.
I feel like we actually did better this time.
Did a lot better this
Hey.
time.
Like I did so much worse.
Yeah, you not so much. But
This seems to be consistent Lexi though. So hey.
I think it's because on on the stream you're way far away from Lorna, but on my screen you're right next to her, and I think some of her die rolling because
Sorry.
she has a bit of
Sorry.
the Wheaton curse too. So
Hey,
It looks
I
like it's
rolled
just-
okay.
moving over. Yeah, you did okay. So she must have been
And I
absorbing
did
that from you.
I gifted that plot point so that
Yeah,
Thank you.
that was good. That was
if it
so
was
good.
someone else, I was doing it.
I'm like, this is cool. I want to see it.
Well, the funny thing too was at that moment was when everything started clicking too. As soon as he blew the thing up, that's when
Right.
Cedric jumped up and jabbed it right in its eye, and then everybody just started like boom, boom, and then I think that's the same round you critted it the first time
Yeah.
was in that round, and so yeah, everything just kind of started rolling after that.
All we needed was a powder keg.
In
Go
my
Val.
mind,
Go Val.
in my mind, we got there. Lorna, in her just confused state, just sat down on a barrel, and then Val's like, "If only we had a powder keg." And she's gonna look down and go, "Does this work?"
So
That just might do. Blink, blink.
can you explain plot points a little bit more? Because I thought I might need one to try what I was doing, but I guess they were just.
So plot point is more for story, and not so much in combat and fray and stuff. So it's more like to make that something is true, or
Oh, okay.
I haven't got to into the case of compelling anybody just yet because I wanted you guys to get a feel for your characters and how you want to play them before I start using those to get them, because that's how you'll get them back, is by play according to character. But I want you guys to kind of land in where you feel like, yeah, this is what my character is, because there was some question marks in there and like exactly like how you want to portray that, and I don't want to start forcing my hand in that avenue, and then you're like, well, now I'm being forced to act into my character and I haven't really got a feel for them yet. So once if I feel we're starting to get to that space, then I'll start, Lexi would be inclined to do, she wouldn't let that happen, and they're like, okay, so I'm going to stop them, and everyone's like, no, those types of things, and then you use the plot points to
Question also, when we're working through the corruption threshold, I notice like when I hold my mouse over, it says -2 penalty for warped.
Yeah, in fact, that should be on there. Sorry, I meant to put that on there last time and I didn't.
So what does that mean?
Look at you guys. You lucked out just great. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, I didn't do, 2d10 worth of damage that I could have done. So
that's true. We'll call it a wash. Yeah.
But does that mean that everything I do has -2, or just my spirit based rolls, or?
No, it should apply to everything. And actually, it's when I was putting these things in there, it's not exactly that, because I copied it over from the physical ones, which those are legit. Those are the penalties you suffer for physical.
Yeah.
And I just didn't clean them up when I copied them over. So what you see popping up is for, because
isn't correct.
Yeah, because I was using the mathematical calculation, because it's all behind, so it looks at what your thresholds are and then automatically calculates it out. And so I was copying it to make it easier, and I forgot that I put the tooltip in. So it's giving you a tooltip for, like, warped is giving you the tooltip that would have fallen under injured.
Got it.
But we can discuss this maybe after the stream's over.
Sorry, guys. Welcome to how to work this system that we are still figuring out.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So excellent work, everybody. Before we wrap up, any place that we can catch you elsewhere? Or shout outs you want to give?
You can find me on Lakeside Legends. We stream Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The next couple of weeks are going to be a little weird because the DM's wife is having her baby.
Oh,
so
finally!
yeah, we're really excited. Little boy's coming. So we're probably going to be running some one-shots, maybe doing some game nights. Not really. We're kind of playing it by ear at this point, but it should be fun. So.
Crypt brought up something earlier when we first started playing. Memorial Day is next Monday. I'm assuming we're playing. No one's saying anything else otherwise. I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
I'm a veteran and I'll be showing up, so
all right,
no excuses.
So, next Monday it is.
I have something on Sunday, but not Monday.
Gotcha.
Excellent. So we'll be playing. Yay, because it would be 2 weeks and I'd forget everything. I forget my frustration.
Maybe you'll forget how to roll badly and then start rolling good.
You know what? No, there is some truth in that.
We're gonna. I mean, since she's not rolling physical dice, we're gonna have to get her a new mouse. Maybe that's what it is.
No,
Could be the mouse that's not working.
I forget where to fix your dice. I need to remember where did they go there.
I changed the colors, so
See what happens.
We'll
I'm
see
just
what
gonna have Cattell design all my dice now.
Yeah, wait, we'll have to meet up, do dice, all the design
It's a
stuff
dice
for that.
party.
Yeah.
Party.
Party.
Love it.
Wasn't that our 0 session? That's literally what we did
Yeah,
for
it
an hour.
was a
That's
big.
what it-
That was a
yeah.
big chunk of session 0 was dice making.
Yeah. Yeah.
That and
Oh,
the
here it
effects of what it would do if a 1 or 20 came up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we heard tonight.
Yeah, on the first roll, me. Wah, wah, wah.
All right. Thank you all, and we will see you next week here
Next
at
Monday.
Ætherealms.
Bye.
Bye.